this? Are you ready for this? To be a champion, to change the system. It's all about revolution. This is your moment. Are you ready to fight? To reveal this?
Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Spring 2023 season, right here with us on Phase 2, day number 4. My name is DK, and of course I'm joined by the loveliest Proxy. Ez, how you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yesterday was absolutely cracking. We ended off the day with some insanity that we'll talk about in a little bit. But ultimately, it's going to come down to today and tomorrow to see what Phase 2 is going to finally bring to us and who'll be stepping it up finally on the PMPL stage. How are you doing?
Pretty excited. I mean, coming off of the back of yesterday, we saw that record-breaking performance coming in from the players there of Greedy. 22 eliminations in a single match, coupled with the winner-winner chicken dinner. Our very first glorious triple bomb that has been dropped. I mean, what more can we say, right? Today, I think, is going to be a very interesting day with the teams now trying to close up these gaps, step up, bring in as many points as they can muster. And I think we are going to be in for quite the ride.
I'm hoping that the teams looked at yesterday's game. Greedy just picking up such a crazy game, even at such a late hour of the day or early morning of the morning. To have that energy to still bring out that sort of a performance, I really hope that the teams are going to take that as a challenge rather than the fear that we were alluding to, and hopefully they can maybe match up, maybe bring us a little bit more.
Yeah, well, there's only one way to find out, right? We need to get into those matches to see what the teams are going to be doing. But before we get there, let's take a look at the format that we are going to be working with for this season of PMPL. Of course, we are currently situated within that league stage, currently on phase number 2 of 3. It's 5 days of action, and we're down to day number 4. All 20 teams are going to be continuing with their hustle, their struggle to try and secure those points, because as we know, only the top 16 teams will be advancing forward into the finals, but also at the end of the week, only the top 12 teams will be making it over into that lovely Vikendi for a little bit of that extra point gathering opportunity.
Yeah, so look, if you're not already in a good place where you can see yourself finding yourself a bit of that Vikendi opportunity, then you really need to pick up the pace. We said a little bit yesterday, we saw Esports, showing a glimmer of hope. We saw virtual gaming even climbing 1 or 2 slots there towards the final pages. I don't know if we're going to see anything as chaotic as GREEDYFORKILLS climbing 10 slots in a single day. I don't know if anyone else can do that, but we definitely saw a lot of teams getting close to that point. I mean, RUKH really did quite well, and yeah, we just have to wait to see who's going to try and catch up to that.
Well, there's only one way to catch up, and that is going to be through utilizing our point system that we are going to be taking a quick look at as well. Just to remind the viewers that first place is worth only 10 points, not the 15 that we were accustomed to just back in 2022, right? Changing up the entire points distribution. And of course, as we know, ending anywhere between that 9th and 16th place will not award you a single placement point, but you can still make up by getting a super aggressive, right? A good example was shown yesterday of what these teams are capable of, and that does award you a nice little heap of points as well.
Yeah, look, it's the new meta. The teams really need to get aggressive. They really need to at least adapt to that sort of meta, adapt to that engagement and the timing of it all. We saw yesterday Triple Esports also having a bit of a tough day just because everyone was so aggressive around them and they kept getting caught out, unfortunately, with those rotations. But it was a good wake-up call, I would say. For any team that's fighting the top 5, they need to remember that if you hesitate for a moment, if you give anyone a gap, they're going to take that opportunity and they're going to catch up to you.
Oh yes, right. It ain't secured until it is secured. We'll only know by the end of day number 5 where exactly these teams sit and how many points they would be able to secure. And that would only solidify them for their positioning in that week. There's still several opportunities that remain. But as we know, what the teams are also playing for is going to be their share of our bonus points, right? So based on where they finish up at the end of this week, they'll be awarded accordingly. and get anywhere between either 20 to 1 bonus point, and that will happen at the end of every week as well as at the end of the league stage, so that overall performance will be rewarded and the teams have the opportunity to lock in a maximum of 80 points before stepping into the finals.
I still can't believe. Again, the first time this format came through, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. The idea that you can take an entire potential 80 points into the final as your safety net, as your foundation, that is massive. And we've seen teams have been able to pick up 20 plus point games, all right? So at best, if you get that max, that's maybe 4 to 3 games where if you don't do your best, it's okay because you've put in the work to cover yourself. So teams are definitely going to be vying for those top slots, and who knows, maybe we'll finally have a back to win over the 20 number 1 slot. But it's competitive. I don't know how possible that's going to be. Already, we're seeing Titans trying to take triple esports slots and take all the points for themselves.
Well, aside from points, they're also playing for their share of the prize pool. So let's take a look at that prize pool breakdown. As we know, each team will be rewarded irrespective of their performance in the overall league stage, with each team walking away with that $1,300. Of course, the MVP getting their additional award. And as we've already mentioned, there is a nice little bit of a surprise coming through on Vikendi for the teams that make it onto that. Not only do they get the opportunity to solidify their points on the overall standings, but also they get a bit of an opportunity to play for those rewards. And, well, here's the breakdown, right? That Robin Hood we've not seen come into swing just yet. It's going to be for the most eliminations by crossbow. I want to see if you're going to have it this phase, right? I want to see the crossbow on Vikendi.
I would absolutely lose it if I see an entire team just dedicating themselves to a crossbow layout, like picking up crossbows left, right, and center, and just going for it. Hey, like, I mean, if you've got that opportunity, you got that opportunity. But at the end of the day, you mentioned it. You know, to see the teams who do play those Vikendi matches just etching forward before the rest of the teams, it does give you that extra bit of advantage, just like it does give you an extra opportunity to get these wonderful prizes. And again, pans, man, we need some pan action.
Yes, we want to see the punishment come in. But, I mean, we've seen a lot of vehicle and utility knocks coming through. So much on the pan side. So maybe, who knows, right? Maybe this Vikendi could be the opportunity for that. Of course, we'll have to wait till the end of tomorrow to find out how that is going to pan out. But no pun intended. Meanwhile, we are going to be taking a little bit of a look at that calendar. We've been speaking about the dates. We've been speaking about the phases. But we got to put it in a picture, and right there we have it. We're of course sitting on, well, Saturday the 1st, and this is no joke, even though it might be April Fool's. The teams are finding themselves midway and still have quite a bit of work to do to secure this phase.
Oh, yes, indeed. Like you said, they're still fighting for the opportunities to make sure they get themselves into the Vikendi slot tomorrow. But as we know, on the overall standings, in the bigger picture, they are fighting for those final 3 days on the calendar to get themselves into the finals and get themselves into a potential qualifying spot for the MEA Champs, which is where the journey goes next and where all of these teams should be focusing on, because who knows what awaits them after that point and who knows how far they can actually go. Hopefully very far. I would love to be shouting PMPL Africa made these teams actually get to this point.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, you and me both, right? We're going to sit there and just shout our lungs out for our teams. But either which way, irrespective of how they are going to be performing throughout this week, we know next week we are going to be changing up the order of the teams again. So for this week, we have our very own kind of sorting hat being dealt for our teams, dividing them up into their respective groups, and we'll be taking a quick look at that. And I think the whole shift dynamic coming through really adds to the level of complexity for our teams. You know, back in phase 1, this looked entirely different. Now moving into phase 2, there's a few similarities, but still, you know, the changes are there. And I want to see how that is going to change up and how the teams are going to look to adapt once they make it into that third phase.
Yeah, look, it throws everything on its head as well with the map shuffles that we have every single day. You would think you would get used to it. I mean, last week, you know, you had that first Sanhok of the day. Now you've been moved into another group. Now you don't have that opportunity. So depending on how the teams are and how comfortable they are with these map rotations, it is going to constantly throw a spin on what they have to adapt to and how they are going to be taking their strategies into account. So it's a little extra fun just to add on top, you know, to make it more tough. As if it wasn't tough already.
I mean, speaking about tough, right? If we look at the performance that we had come through from just yesterday, I mean, Greedy picking up 3 winner chicken dinners. That's essentially what we saw come through from Triple Esports back in phase 1. So it's great to see that there are that there's rather still a very competitive spirit in and amongst our teams, right? Greedy Triple really being neck in neck with their performances on a particular day. But in the grand scheme of things, as we know the teams making their way through, still trying to solidify those points, I'm hoping to see the teams that we have currently sitting like in that middle portion of our overall standings, at least for this week. I want to see them just up the ante coming into today. And of course, we'll be moving into those points in a little bit. We'll get there soon enough. But I got to say, a very, very exciting opportunity lies ahead for the teams here today, right? They want to try and just break the bank before heading into that final stretch tomorrow.
Yeah, I keep saying it at least. I don't want teams to leave this for the last week. I do not want teams to have that extra pressure on themselves that, look, the first 2 weeks didn't go the way that we really wanted them to go. We have to make it happen in this third week. And we know that the third week is one of the most stressful times in PMPLs. We know that that's really where the mistakes come out, because all of a sudden you're really worried about how this is going to affect your overall and if you're going to even make the cut. And all of that stress is unnecessary to add on top of, okay, we need to get like 60 points just to be able to, qualify. So push it. You've got 2 more days left of phase 2. Let's see those best performances come out. If you're holding on to cards that you haven't played yet, play them. Now is the time to play them. Otherwise, we won't be seeing you in the finals. And then what was it all for? So please, I applaud the teams for all of their efforts so far, but I beg them, they need to bring it today.
I mean, it's quite interesting when you take a bit of a look and take a look at those points in the grand total, right? Where these teams currently find themselves, and of course, we'll discuss that in a little bit. But before we get into any of that, of course, we want to use the opportunity to remind our viewers of the new Royal Pass for month 21, which is now available. So be sure to check out the video for the highlight moments of the Blaster Tank, the Dark Rain set, and of course the Grand High set as well. So let's take a look. Oh, some very exciting skins coming through on that front. But of course, speaking about excitement, we also need to give a big shout out going out to Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner for the PUBG Mobile Pro Leagues. We really appreciate everything that they allowed this event to be, as the teams have already stepped up, bringing in quite the satisfying performance. But of course, now speaking about satisfactory performances, is we need to take a bit of a look and see what the point system for this week is, and we will be getting right in towards that. But as I was mentioning before, we took a quick look at that new RE. We already see quite a bit of an interesting thing that is starting to develop on the grand standings, right? There currently is 40 points separating first place from second. There's also 40 points separating second from third place. And then it's pretty close, right? It's pretty much neck and neck moving into that side. And I'm curious to see, I'm not going to name any names, right? But looking at the points, they're definitely there. So let's take a look at those overalls in the meantime. But of course, taking a look at what we have, right? Titan Gaming, they've been bringing in a very strong performance for this week, sitting on 142 points in total. And we knew it was only going to be a matter of time until we see the return of Titan. And, putting that in perspective as to what we saw from them last week. Last week, they closed off with 137 points, only 30 from where they are right now. That was back in third place. So maybe they are going to be looking to push not only through today, but all the way into tomorrow's games to try and solidify that pole position.
I mean, they definitely have the momentum to do so. They've had absolutely phenomenal games in the past few days. They've had very dominating performances. I mean, you can take a look at those placement points and eliminations. They are absolutely just gunning it. And I mean, Greedy for Kills, after their record breaking game yesterday, they are still behind Titans because that consistency is just showing, that experience is just starting to show here for Titans. So, after all of the effort that they've put through this week, I would be very happy if I can see them, topping the logs at the end of the week for all of the hard work they've put in. But I would still like them to have a little bit of a challenge. And Greedy for Kills already climbing those 10 slots. I mean, that was phenomenal. For Wave Esports today as well, they were 1 point behind Titans just yesterday. So that also gives you a massive idea of how phenomenal Titans really moved on into that performance alongside Greedy. So today, the question is, who's going to be the next teams? Who's going to be those next focus points and the next climbers on the overalls?
I want to see it come through from that middle section, right? I mean, also take into consideration the points of Titans that I was just talking about was before we head over into VISTA, right? We know it changed up because they got the chicken dinner, this edition of a handful of points getting distributed onto that side. But if we look at what we've got right here, I want to see the hard work now come through from CRYPTICS, RUKH Esports, come through from the players here of RUKH, and then as we move over on towards that second page, we'll see there's still a very similar kind of situation happening here. I mean, only 1 point currently separating that 8th place from 9th place, so the entry into the second page is not that high. So we could even see it all the way to even Black Hand, right? So all the way from 6th to 14th place. I'm expecting to see a lot of movement, especially in today's games.
I would expect it to happen today. I mean, the opportunity is there. It's a little bit less stressful than having to make everything happen tomorrow. You have that ability that it's a bit more balanced of not having those crazy Miramar or Erangel heavy days. So there is a good opportunity for them to really bring in their best bets and to really showcase a little bit of the action. I mean, towards the end of yesterday, we also saw Black Hand with a bit more of a dominating presence. I mean, in that same game as Greedy for Kills, we saw them there towards the top 3. I could say the same for Blackjack. I mean, they were just rolling up on lag whenever they had the opportunity and taking eliminations left, right, and center. And it's really starting to show. Vista Gaming also started off the day with the winner chicken dinner. So there is massive opportunity, and I just need these teams to really showcase what they're capable of, especially when we move on to this last page. We were holding candles left, right, and center, DK. We were really waiting and hoping Mo Esports would bring some action to the party, and it was mostly in the form of placement points, but it was something, and something is most certainly better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. You can definitely see an increase in the level of play coming through from the side there of Mo Esports. We want to be able to say the same thing about Timeout, right? We want to see them just adopt a good approach and get themselves solidified, because based on their performance from the previous phase, they closed up the week all the way in 17th, sitting on 77 points in total. So them sitting in the position where they find themselves now, they got to figure out what went wrong, where it went wrong, and then look to rectify it and maybe see if they can bring in that additional step up. But, whether or not that is going to be the case is yet to be seen. And, well, we've got 5 games today to find out what our teams are going to be looking to bring in to just close up this 4th day.
Oh, it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. We're getting closer and closer to the finish of phase 2, and already we've had a lot of upsets. We've already had a lot of questions put on our mind. But the most important one that I want to try and answer, at least at the end of this week, is who are the consistent teams? Who are the teams that have their play style down, that have their strategy locked in, and know exactly what they need to do and can execute it correctly? That's going to be the question for me. If we can find, those pillars of the groups, then we can really start to try and break down the chaos that has been PMPL Africa Spring 2023, because so far it has just been predictions out of the window.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a pretty tough one, but what we know is not going to be all that tough is taking a look at our schedule for today, right? It is going to be the Erangel heavy day. So yesterday we started on Sanhok. Today we're going to be ending the day on Sanhok, just to add a little bit of spice into the mix, and also give the players from Group A an opportunity to have their hand at a bit of Sanhok action, as well as they didn't really get the opportunity just yesterday. But of course, well, with so much Erangel action coming through, it is going to allow for the teams that are really confident in their performance on Erangel to really flourish here today, to step up and show us what exactly they are able to pull out of a hat.
Hey, I do love my little bit of Sanhok action, but hey, if we can see some chaos at the end of the day, I'll be fine, okay? I will survive. It is okay. Erangel also is just such a lovely map to add into the mix, right? Miramar was just weird, honestly. Miramar was a bit of a... It was too much for me, honestly. It was too much. I was crying already yesterday. I do not want to be crying again today. So let's go over to Erangel. Let's see the teams that had a bit of a tough time. I mean, I'm looking at you, Triple. Let's see them come back stronger. Let's see them come back in a much more solid fashion. And hopefully we will be seeing a resurgence in these teams. I mean, we had those moments where our top 5 weren't even playing, and then we were again just talking about different teams other than Titans, obviously staying consistent. But let's, yeah, I'm gonna stop saying let's see this, let's see that. What I do want to ask DK to you, because you keep doing this to me.
Yes.
Who are the teams you're going to be looking out for our first Erangel of the day?
Ooh, good question, good question. But before I get to that, I just want to say the more accurate way of saying it is that Miramar choked you up yesterday.
Quite literally.
Yes.
I needed more water yesterday.
That is going to be the most accurate way to put it. Based on today, what we could be looking forward to, I would definitely say I'm going to be looking at teams like I want to see VISTA step it up. I want to see the Wall of Battle step it up, as well as Arab Golden, because last week Arab Golden made it all the way up into 8th place. This week we look at where they're sitting. They are not sitting in the most opportune position. They find themselves in 11th, which is not bad. Okay.
Not bad.
I mean, well, I said 11th. It's actually 15th. They find themselves in 15th place.
But worse.
It's not the most ideal position, but we know them to be a team that is really capable of securing those higher finishes. So right, playing all the way into those later games, and that's what I'm going to be looking at today, is to see what the players from Arab Golden are going to be bringing out, whether or not they can pick up that consistency, whether or not they could bring in another glorious performance like we've seen come through from them before. And yeah, I mean, we even add URUS into the mix, because they did it in phase 1, right? They just popped off, went absolutely crazy. I remember you losing your mind as URUS stepped up and just went absolutely ham. But we want to see that come in today. The opportunity is there, and now all the teams need to do is grab it with, well, everything they've got.
Look, I do think that we've already seen we've been treated, honestly, to such a good PMPL Africa, because the challenges that came in, we keep saying it doesn't feel like they're new to this stage. It doesn't feel like they were just thrown in and now they were told to swim. They really adapted very quickly. We've had, obviously, there's always 1 or 2 teams that are going to have a tougher time than the rest, because that's just how leaderboards work, right? We can't have everyone in first place. So it's good to see that overall it's been a very healthy showing from, I would say, majority of the teams. Yes, there are a few stragglers. Yes, there are a few teams that are still working on a couple of things. But there's still time. Like we said, there's still 2 days left of phase 2. We're about to get into the first match. They have a whole day ahead of them. They've got a whole day ahead of them again tomorrow, plus maybe an extra map. So, with that being said, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. Mo Esports, please stop losing players 5 seconds into an Erangel drop. Please, I beg you, because they were so good with their positioning on that one match that they got. I think they were 3rd, 4th place. They got those 6 points. No, they were 2nd. They even came 2nd place with their placements, with their rotations, and that was all off the back of them being able to stay alive, stay together, and just take better looting positions. Other than that, I mean, my heart breaks every time I see them out in the open. They don't have consumables. They don't have a way to get out. Everyone's just moving in on their position. It was like Triple Esports yesterday as well. The rotations are just, it's just not working for them. So please, today, I want to see a change. I want to see these teams really putting in the work and changing up what needs to be changed.
Well, there's going to be only one way to find out, right? It's going to be for us to hop in the match to see what the teams are going to be bringing. Apparently, the engines are still just warming up properly, so we are going to be moving into that. So let's take a look and see what that is going to be looking like, as the plane is now where it's supposed to be, way up high in the sky. We are going to be starting... Ooh, that's South George down below. All right, so I know exactly where we are. We are coming in from that northwestern side. It does seem like we're heading straight. Yep, we're heading straight over into Malta Power. So it's going to be a glorious start for these teams to get themselves now beautifully situated and right down into the action. But I think the big kicker here is going to be what that zone, that first initial zone, is going to decide to do. Is it going to be complementary to this flight path, or could we see a little bit of an upset? Because we know that happens sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, no, look, yesterday we had such a southern flight path, and then we had the zone going all the way to the west or to the north, and today, I don't know. I feel like, again, I want to give some love to the northern side of Erangel. As much as I love the military base island, as much as I love Ferry Pier and Promosk and all of that, let's change it up. I mean, like a Yasnaya finish would be absolutely wild. A Stalbo finish would just be unheard of, honestly. My brain would have to fathom that one. So let's get a zone that gives us those opportunities, please. I ask again. No reverse psychology.
Well, I mean,
Hey.
it's kind of centered up on towards Rozok, so I don't think it's going to be the worst position to start off with. I mean, RUKH Esports and the players there from Black Hand, they're going to be very, very happy because they don't have to move a muscle. Meanwhile, we do see the players from Smash and, Mo Esports dropping hard up in towards North George. And already the first team to lose a player was going to be Vampires, as they also went for a little bit more of a spread out approach. I mean, we did see D3S all the way up north, just beyond the North George territory. The rest of the squad dropping down towards that hospital side. And I guess, well, the unlucky victim fell somewhere in between and, of course, got traded on through. But URUS are also going to be hanging on the wing just to that southern side of the waterway. So there's going to be a lot of pressure coming through it, especially on this, well, western side of zone.
Look, at this point in time, if you can't handle the rotation, these crazy drops, then it's a good time to practice it. Mo Esports already spotting out a little bit of a straggler in the form of D3S from Vampires. And I mean, in terms of the loots, in terms of the situation Vampires find themselves, they obviously do not want to let go of anyone else. But Mo Esports might be happy to just get a little bit of information because he doesn't really have anything, and I mean anything, to work with here. So they will just be staying quiet right now. I don't know if D3S has spotted them already, because it does look like they're also just trying to play, the sneaky beaky like game. But for now, let's see whose team is going to get there first, because now it's about calling in the cavalry, right? You need to communicate to your team to say, listen, I've got this information, I need help. Back me up, let's take a player, let's get an elimination point in the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, Hates has got nothing other than their determination and focus to drive them through this opportunity.
And their fists.
Yes, maybe, who knows? Maybe a bit of a ban could come flying out of somewhere. I honestly don't know where. Similar to these shots coming out of the middle of nowhere. Of course, it is Paradox just popping in those heads. Let's see if they can get that spray. But this allows a bit of an opportunity here for Hates now to move even closer and maybe bring in a bit of a surprise onto Vampires.
Yes, this is what we love to see. Like I said, just work together. Just use those numbers. Get those rotations in. Hates got so much information. Paradox now just applying that backup at least gives Hates an opportunity to get a pistol as well. Now they just need to regroup, double up, and take this point. That would be the best situation that I could see happening here. As for D3S, though, there's a shotgun in hand. So we know what shotguns in tight little spaces mean.
But we got to point out something. Mo Esports, they didn't lose the first player. Vampires did, right?
Yes.
Phenomenal change up. I mean, that already is a great start to the day. And I love the fact that Mo is moving up as a unit, right? They're not leaving that solo up to chance. Even though it's only 2 players, it's still better than just trying to solo this out. I mean, Hates now managing to quickly sneak themselves a pistol. So it is going to be a pretty tough play. A pistol versus a shotty. It could go either which way. But let's see what Hates has in store. How much focus and determination does Hates have?
It's going to be a... Ooh, okay, look, again. Yeah, the guns. You're going up against a shotgun and an SMG with a pistol.
Yeah. It's tough.
We don't. Yeah, look. If it was the other way around, I would submit that clip for like the viewer's choice, basically, because there's no good stats as to why you should win that out. On the other hand, though, we are seeing Smash finding another player of Mo Esports. So
But it looks different because Paradox has got a bit of a loadout.
It's a bit different, yes. It's still a question mark for me. Where's the regrouping? Why aren't they fighting this together? Why did Paradox leave them? I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. This is why I don't play. I just watch.
Yes. Yes. And we still have Bum Bum, which is all the way down towards that ruin side. Oh, there we go.
They're back.
Paradox gets it. There we have it. Nicely done. But let's see whether or not Paradox is now going to look to play something else because Vampires, sure, they're down to a 2-piece, but that's going to be Ninja and Yazan all the way on that far western side, right? Nowhere near Paradox or even Bum Bum. So I wanted to see what they're going to have in store, whether or not they're going to look to group up. In the meanwhile, right in between those two players, we see the players here from Smash Team also now just lurking around. Are they going to opt to play towards those, towards the container yard, or maybe just go in towards North George? I think it's probably most likely going to be North George because that's where Ilias is positioned.
So let's actually break down a little bit of this wonderful little zone that we've been gifted to, right? We've got the opportunity of seeing Stolber. We have quite a bit of the zone actual available space being cut off by that water in the northern side. I'd say about like 10 to 15% is gone. So that's just not playable. I mean, plus the river in the middle. Okay, let's make it a 20. Now the teams need to decide, okay, where are they going to be placing their bets? We've got a lot of movement there towards Yasnai. We've got a lot of movement there towards RUKH. Unexpectedly. Oh, expectedly. Shooting range already taken up. Severny is about to be taken up by RUKH Esports by the looks of it. But Stolber, all of that's inside, completely empty. And it is a bit of a risk. But I mean, look at this with Arab Golden. Is it really worth losing Stolber and losing those potential positions to all of this chaos that's happening in the central band of that zone? I would just take it. I mean, just even if you take a little bit more of a longer rotation onto that northern side, you give yourself so much space to get some loot going. And then when you're ready, you come in, you get the engagements.
I mean, I like that makes sense, right? It definitely does make sense, but you know, we're human. I mean, things don't always go according to a preset plan. Sometimes you just wing it in the spur of the moment. But I'm curious to see who's gonna look to really play out any of their strategies, as we still have a wide selection of teams hanging around, sipping on some blue juice. We got Triple, we've got the Vampires, we got Vista, Titans, Wave, the half of Blackjack, all just sitting out within that blue zone. Smash almost also having a bit of a representation there, but we see Ban and them about to make that entry point. But the zone is going to now focus up towards Black Hand. And I mean, if Black Hand ever wanted an opportunity to step up and just capitalize, this is exactly that, because we've not really seen Black Hand play to the extent that they've showed in that first week. We want to see Black Hand coming back into power as well.
I mean, here they're gifted a zone that's actually going to be including Yasnai Poliana. That gives them a very good chance. Now they're nicely set up. They can sit, they can wait, they can start taking some fights. And they did so well on Miramar yesterday with this exact same strategy. So I would love to see a little bit more action coming through today. Maybe a bit more eliminations. I mean, I don't know. They do so well when they take that aggressive route. You know, when they're a little bit more cheeky. I love it when they're a little bit more cheeky. So I'd really, really want to see that coming back today. Lag as well. I mean, Blackjack was just hunting lag yesterday. So I hope they have turned it around. I hope they are ready. We already see Koa finding a little bit of action there towards Arab Golden. The World of Battle being spotted out in that 3-1 scenario, taking a look at lag. So this is where those fights start to break out.
Yeah, and right on time, because this is going to be a potentially important position to be holding, especially looking at RUKH itself and its kind of whereabouts in this current zone. But here we have it, Knight now just ripping it up as the World of Battle tries to make a dash. But unfortunately, Mad Lol will get ripped out, just uprooted, potential knockabout to follow. But Lag playing this one very interestingly, because, I mean, it's not a full frontal positioning. They're taking it slightly spread out, but still maintaining their positioning within that compound. So it's going to be interesting to see if the World of Battle decides to rush, whether or not they're going to be able to survive that.
It's a bit of a question mark for me as well, because again, it's so in center. You've got such a a great position, but also such a terrifying position because you know that you're going to be the target for everyone. Everyone is going to want to get to this point, and this is just like what we're supposed to be expecting at this point in time. URUS already smelling out a potential bum right now because they are looking for a bit of a hunt. In the blue zone, unfortunately, they need to be a bit quicker at this point. Hey! Ow.
Hey,
Ow.
well,
Wait, nah.
sorry, I couldn't. You just got me
bum
off guard
bum,
with yeah, yeah. Well
I
done.
have to bring the puns
It
sometimes.
was
too.
it was cheeky. It was cheeky. Well done. But well, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
Bum Bum
even
getting
cheekier.
yes, sir. Look at that. That is 2 down, 2 for 2. I mean, Ramsey. Now the last one left to try and make a bit of a play, at least on this initial front line. But Bum Bum just picking up, you know, the hits here like it's nobody's business. Unfortunately for Bum Bum, they won't be able to find RUKH just yet, as RUKH is all the way off in the distance.
I'm questioning why we have so many players out in the zone, and then I have to think about the flight path, and then I just have more questions. Like, this
Oh,
is
yes.
a complementary zone to the flight path.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay,
Yeah.
it's fine.
That's how it works.
Maybe,
Welcome to
maybe,
PUBG.
maybe the viewers have answers for me, but as we take a look at it, at least now everyone is getting a move on into the zone. We've still got a few stragglers out and about, but that's alright. They should be taking care of themselves sooner rather than later. Ultimately, though, what we need to talk about is Blackhound in center of zone, very close to Yasnai Poliana, and they are one of the few teams that are currently set up in center, so massive opportunity for them. We're going to be keeping an eye out on that and seeing what's going to be unfolding there. In the meantime, Smash Esports and Blackjack finding each other, a little bit of a peeking and prodding here going on, trying to see how they can break down this engagement. And for Smash right now, I mean, they're the ones on recovery, but Blackjack only have 2 players to work with.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, a very bumpy start to the proceedings here, but I mean, we are still sitting with all 16 teams up, as you can see, and it's gonna be a very tough play, especially trying to cram as many players into this next phase. But the shots are going to be starting off, as we do have the players there from Lag starting to fall victim to a bit of the action. But look at Aquaman here, just pulling into the fuel station, looking to see if they can maybe find a bit of a hidey hole there. And on that southeastern side is going to be the players from Timeout and Titans having a little bit of a go at each other here.
It's it's looking like a bit of a case of dodgeball at this point in time. Titans are just chucking through some bullets, they're chucking through a few nades, and Timeout just have to bob and weave their way through it all. Hunkering down now, not a lot of cover to work with other than the cars that they brought in. And again, we know those are also explosive cars, so not a lot of safe cover to work with. Titans still have quite a bit of utility, and they are taking this slow and methodical. Going to take this as a war of attrition, just slowly but surely take them out, whittle down their HP bars before they go in for the final engagement. Ooh! Hello.
Well, let's see. I did see a reference of Armageddon coming through with 16 teams. Well, 15 teams now, just crammed up into the zone. As Mo Esports run into a bit of a brick wall, but they actually lasted exceptionally well all the way into this 3rd stage. But Timeout is going to follow suit as Titans come through swinging. And this is going to be a very challenging position, especially looking at how these teams are getting distributed. I mean, Titans, things cleared up quite a bit for them, but looking over towards that western front, that is where things are going to be so challenging for the teams to continue on with these waves. And speaking about waves, it's going to be Lag now, falling under the pressure here. Oh, Bist also getting traded, and that is Escanaut down, and this could be Lag in a world of trouble, but is down tonight, looking to see whether or not they can actually sustain a bit of a fight here.
Zero already giving that communication in, and a crossfire is going to follow suit. Pretty quick and clean up, but now the question is, will they be able to get themselves out of the situation? Triple has heard everything that has happened. You can see on the minimap, they're coming through from that western side. So right now you can treat this like a Sanhok situation. Every single fight that you're going to be taking is going to give that third-party opportunity to everyone in the vicinity. It is just that stacked right now. Triple, VISTA, going to be a few trolls under the bridge as they wait for some of those rotations to move on through. Maybe they can spot out a few more eliminations, but this does give VISTA the opportunity to move on out. RUKH, they were holding on to the gas station here, but MG decided to knock on their doors, and RUKH said, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, Aquaman not being able to swim through that one, but either which way, RUKH picking up their third elimination, also being reduced down to a 2P. So it is going to be a little bit more challenging, but let's see. Maybe they can pick up those pieces yet again. But speaking about challenging, we look onto the players here from RUKH and the side there of Triple. Both teams trying to hold on for a bit of a positioning here. Where will it go? Triple now just hunkering down, trying to get this bridge under lockdown. The World of Battle are going to come rolling on through as well, looking for that opportunity. But look at this now. Oh! They rush straight into RUKH, and Arthur just tries to swing it through. Eugene quickly trying to pick that one up, but now it turns to Muhammad, who could be the final contender left now. It's going to be a 1v1. Eugene versus Muhammad and Ra'ad looking to come into the swing of things.
Oh, we can hear those engines roaring. So right now, RUKH have a bit of a troubling time here. Oh, the World of Battle, who knows? They're still on to this 1v1 as they can hear all of the third parties moving on in. Ra'ad not wasting a single moment. They take down RUKH. Now they're looking for Muhammad. They want a double team wipe just to secure themselves a few extra eliminations and, of course, to secure themselves this position and this hardcover.
Oh, what a phenomenal performance that was so far coming through from Ra'ad. But here we go. Muhammad steps out, finds the first. Oh! S12K to the face to close it off. So unfortunate. But actually it wasn't. It was the players. It was someone else that actually got that third party hit in. Yes, and well, here we go. This is now the compound of despair. As we see even more teams now just rushing in. Up comes the challenge for Ra'ad. Will they be able to get it again? Finds that hit, but down they go. Oh! What? Smash almost getting eliminated as they run into that nade.
That nade was their own nade.
Yeah.
It's okay. Look, it was messy, it was chaotic, but hey, they're okay. They still have someone up, they can still get the rest going. In the meanwhile, we're talking about VISTA and Arab Golden right now. VISTA have been doing so well. They've already picked up those 4 eliminations. Arab Golden with only 1, looking to potentially make that a 4-piece. But will VISTA be going down so easily, or will they be actually able to sustain this and maybe get a bit of a turnaround?
I mean, this is looking absolutely insane. The pressure is definitely going to ride on the shoulders here for VISTA, but it's going to be Arab Golden looking to contest. As Wanted comes knocking on the door, the Titans now reaching over that ridge line and just finding so many hits, and it's making it so challenging for Arab Golden to find a good footing. But there's going to be VISTA also now falling in the wake as the hits continue to fly on through, and Titans looking to get onto a bit of a rampage as they send VISTA packing all the way out in 9th place, 4 eliminations to their name. Where will this one go? Wanted about to get rushed. Oh, the nade comes through. Fortunately for Arab Golden, Quality has already decided to just get down in that waterway. You can see them now just swimming up alongside Farokh.
Yeah, no, they dropped to the ground immediately. As soon as there was a hint of a third party, they went down to the ground. They knew exactly what was happening, and they decided to rather get out of there, which is, honestly, I would do the exact same situation if I saw Titans running at me. In the meanwhile, though, Smash Esports, I mean, they have been surviving onslaught after onslaught. They had to survive their own nades, even, but they are still alive, they are still kicking, and they're looking for a few more eliminations. Black Hand have become the new trolls under the bridge in the meanwhile. It looks like they have taken Triple's position. Triple has at least found those 5 eliminations, but they've had to give up that position. Now taking a look at it, this is a little bit of a calm before the storm as teams are still looking for information as to where everyone's holding up.
I mean, for Blackhand, it's more a bit of calm after the storm, right? Because they only have Kawan Plaza left. Storm has already been sent back to the lobby, so let's see what they'll be able to do with that positioning. Meanwhile, it's going to be the Vampires just hanging around on the outside of zone, trying to find a bit of an opportunity to play at. Titans, I like the position that they're moving in with here. Going to be looking to make it super contentious, not allowing anyone to sneak on by them. But if it's up to Yazan, they will try their utmost to get any potential opening created. And we could maybe even see them just sneaking up alongside that waterway.
You know what's a bit of a question mark for me right now is Wave Esports. They're coming through from the northern side. We haven't seen them make a single move, but they still have all 4 of their players alongside Titans, rather. We're the only 2 teams also to have all of their players. And for now, it looks like they're pretty much uncontested. They don't really have anyone to worry about. They do, unfortunately, have this massive gap in the form of the river right between them and any other action. But maybe they can play this one out, and maybe they could just chime on in for the winner-winner chicken dinner. But I would hope that they jump in a little bit sooner, get some eliminations, and start to really pack on those points.
Yeah, this is definitely where we need to see Vampire prioritize their rotation, right? Not try and take on the fight with Titans because, as we know, that could potentially be a losing battle. Titans, no strangers to aggression. I mean, Vampires still have a phenomenal opportunity to just inch their way on forward instead of getting distracted with the potential towards the players there from the side of Titan. But then there's another potential threat coming through. Wave on the opposite end of that waterway, just north of them, as we could see them just holding around in the wing. But here we go. Vampires, I think, eventually they get into the rotation, but they could have put so much more focus trying to clear the wave before only now time to rotate up.
There you go, Wave. As we said, they were left so uncontested, and now they have an opportunity to just start clearing up the stragglers coming through all the way from the northern side. It will be an interesting play. We're going to have to wait and see if that car is going to blow up. Secondly, how that zone is going to be shifting, and now actually favoring Smash and Black Hand, alongside just old boy there from Triple, who's somehow, someway still alive. Titans going to have to move on in. Arab Golden, Wave, they're all going to have to make their approach. For Smash, I mean, this is an interesting opportunity, DK. They're holding center. They've got some good compounds, some good cover. It's just going to come down to how they can manage all of these teams moving on in.
I definitely think a lot of the pressure is going to be alleviated on this bridge, as we still have a few teams that have to try and push across. Titan are looking to just close up their grip there, but here we go. Smash reaching across this triple. Gets sent on back, and it's now down to who can fight for control of this bridge, as it is going to be URUS, Arab, Black Hand, and Titans holding strong. Wave actually having an interesting position, even though it could be said that it is somewhat exposed. They still have a great chance to just maybe sneak in and find a few of those angles.
You would say so, but Puncher is making it extremely difficult at this point for at least two of Wave to try and make an approach. You can see Petrox was thinking about going up and helping out their teammates, but yeah, it's not going to happen anytime. It does look like Wave will be reduced down to 2. Smash still holding on to the compounds that they do have. Petrox managing to get themselves into the water, should be joined by their teammates shortly. There they are, into the water for a little bit of a swim. But now, the question is, how much longer can they actually survive?
Well, we'll find out in due course, as the Wave now going to be looking to potentially maybe kick up a bit of a storm. But they're going to have to try and ride it out as best they can. Smash, I definitely say they have the upper hand when it comes to positioning, and they're spread within this current zone. But Titans and Black Hand are going to be looking to contest them for any potential gains they might have. And here we go, Puncher starting with that onslaught, reaching in and all the way from this eastern side.
This is what you have to do. We know Titans are so good with that long distance engagements, and they've been picking up eliminations left, right, and center, already sitting on 9. You've got Smash and Black Hand following suit with 6. Wave, unfortunately, out in the water, literally fish in a barrel, and I mean, the care package has to drop right in front of them, just like a bullseye. Say, yeah, shoot here, please. Thank you very much.
I mean, Wave playing a very risky play, right? There's no illusion as to the whereabouts of them. As we can see, Titan actually expending quite a bit of ammunition. And, I mean, that could work out in a different way. Especially, you know, if they utilize most of that and then try to push on forward. It's going to hamper their advantage ever so slightly. But Petrox is going to be falling next. And here we go. Black Loss putting up the defensive line. Ooh, I like what Elias is doing here. Moving much, much closer and trying to be that front line defensive.
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but again, it's all about that timing, right? It's all about playing to the advantage that you have in front of you. Titans, I mean, they're looking a little scary, if I'm going to be honest. And at this point in time, I would like to see some teams really starting to apply the pressure to them. We can see AXA taking a swim, trying to get a bit of a flanking opportunity here. They still have to push into zone. Smash still has the advantage in terms of positioning. And I mean, Black Hand are not too far off from getting one of their own advantages in. But again, they need to still stop the Titans from getting a foothold into the zone, or it might be over. At this point in time, they are just looking so confident, so comfortable. The momentum they have is absolutely scary.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, Titan, we know, looking at their performance going through from the previous season, they are quite the force. But Smash still holding a bit of an advantage here. This could be an opportunity for Smash now, just looking to capitalize. But already Titans They've been able to sneak AXA across and get that entry point secured. And this could be when it all now starts to crumble as Titans have a great opportunity. They just come flying across. Ooh, evading a majority of the sprays, but they're managing to group themselves back together. But Black Hand also now coming into the swing of things, just rising up from under that bridge, looking for the opportunity. But still, not a very, well, prevalent opportunity just ahead of them.
Yeah, they split up. They don't really have cover to work with each other at this point in time. So they're both just individually trying to fight, trying to get closer into the zone, trying to find an opportunity. But unfortunately, both Titans, both Smash know exactly where they're at, and they're pushing back. They are becoming an absolutely impenetrable wall that Black Hand are just not finding an opportunity to break. Smash holding on this line. They are having to double team two teams and manage both of these angles. So one small mistake and it could cost them their position. Very split up and they need to try and work together. There it is, Ilias. For a second too long, they stand up and they get absolutely quickly taken down by Titans, who still have all four, I might remind you. So the rest of the teams need to be careful.
Well, let's see where it will go. Titans now sitting up on 10. Great angle up onto what Black lost there. As AXA, it just looks to drive it through. Smash still just waiting patiently for a bit of an opportunity.
Ooh.
Smash and Black both sitting on 6 elims, but up comes the nade. The utility is flung in. This is now Titans looking to just get a grip, and up they come, finding a two-piece. Glorious rush coming through. One down, one more to go. Will that be Black last? The next one to fall. Ooh, nice timing going through here. Let's see, will AXA get it? Ooh, misses out on the initial opportunity. But Black lost. I mean, the only player currently situated in the zone, and they are met with a glorious spray away from AXA, and that is Smash Team getting just packaged up in fourth. But look at this Black Hand. Going to be looking to come through swinging.
Perfect timing to be stepping up, but you still have to keep in mind we still have one player from Wave that has been completely left to their own devices, and at this point in time they are watching their only competitors trying to take each other out. If they play their cards right, maybe we're looking at another RUKH. Hemo literally can see everyone right in front of him trying to battle this out. I mean, the angles are just too perfect.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot riding on this next few plays. But Titan sitting on a 3-piece, up to 13 eliminations. Black Hand sitting on 7. Only 2 players to boot. But let's see what Koa and Plaza will be able to accomplish right here. We know Koa, also quite a formidable force to go up against. But it is going to be all the utilities now getting sent in both directions. And it is going to be AXA down, right? So now evening out the board here. As it is a 2v2, but up comes Hand trying to reach in. Koa getting a little bit emboldened here as they push up, but down they go. Now it's down to Plaza. Will they be able to sustain this push on towards the side of Titans instead? Plaza dropping down into the drink. Titan now looking to capitalize as they rush on forward. Oh! But the knocks are there. It is Teak now down to the final little bit of health. Essentially trying to sneak their play in. But look at the opportunity. Hemo sneaks in and steals that winner with a chicken dinner from the very clutches of Titan Gaming.
I was staring at Hemo. I was like, what are you doing in the water there? Why are you hiding? What are you planning? And it was such a perfect opportunity. They literally had everyone right in front of them. They could see the whole time what was happening. They could obviously see what was happening in the feed. They knew exactly when to jump in, and I saw it. As soon as those two started going against each other, we saw Hemo start swimming up onto shore, start getting behind a rock, getting into position and waiting for it. So nice cheeky little steal there to get the placement points at the end. But I mean, Titans with the eliminations that they picked up and the second place, I definitely think they should be topping the lobbying, but that was cheeky. I liked it.
Yeah, I could just hear Crowns being upset seeing what just happened, right? I can just hear it. But you gotta say, it was some very, very exciting gameplay coming through. I mean, Wave just timing that one to perfection with Hemo. I mean, doing the dirty work right there. That is like, yeah, pulling a Raouf, right? That is the Erangel equivalent of pulling a Raouf when it comes to Sanhok. And what an exceptional way to get this first game of the day, well, done and dusted, right? Get it ticked off, marked off, and already having those points secured. But that was only the first. Of course, we are going to be adding of that Miramar and Sanhok action as well. But as we also know, right, those highlights, they're going to be coming in. I'm curious to see exactly how Hemo snuck in.
We just have to go and look, honestly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Spring 2023 season. Of course, as you just saw, right? This is what happens if a player times their shot to perfection, right? Sneaks out of the middle of nowhere and steals the winner chicken dinner for themselves, right? It is so cracked that everything it just stops working, and that's what happens. But what an exceptional performance that was coming through from Wave. Of course, we did see a few of those highlights as well, but we are going to be taking a look at those points in a little bit to see exactly how many points everyone was able to secure. And of course, that little bit is now. So let's take a look and see what the points look like for this first game.
Yeah, so Titan Gaming, like we said, even though they didn't get the winner chicken dinner with 15 eliminations, they're going to top the charts. We got Blackhand in second with 9 eliminations, so really good to see them up on the charts, making an appearance. We saw that little bit of a glimmer towards the end of yesterday, and they're starting today strong with a great amount of momentum. Wave, of course, Hemo, you sneaky man. Moving on up, finding that winner chicken dinner, and at least getting their team those 13 points in total. Really help. Every little bit is going to help. But as we take a look down towards the rest of the lobby, placements aren't looking too great, but those eliminations, DK, 6 to 7 to 6, I mean, come on.
Oh, yes, it is looking pretty toasty. But of course, as we move on to that second page, I mean, we still have some points on the board. We got Mo sitting on 3 eliminations being secured.
Hey,
I mean, hey. Happy day. But either which way, there's still going to be a lot of work to be done here. And of course, Blackjack, Lag, and Timeout all taking a quick pit stop at our glorious donut shop. So yeah, welcome. I hope they got something that will get themselves ready for that second game, because as we know, moving into our second match here for today, we are going to be venturing over into Miramar to see what is going to be happening. And yes, I agree. Miramar is going to be one of those places where you need to wipe the sweat off, because it is going to be a pretty tough one once we make it over in towards that. But of course, also, it's going to be the opportunity for the players from Group E to play their first game of the day, right? That is going to be CRYPTICS, Greedy, the Mind Weapon, as well as the players from the Virtual Gaming Squad. And of course, there's going to be no time to waste as we take a look. We are going to be starting on that eastern side, because we've got the islands. Yes, there we go. And we're heading right down into Titan territory.
Ooh, we like it. We do love it. Titans, massive opportunity for them to get into their favorite little spots. But also right over Los Leones, we know there's quite a few teams that do generally venture into that little section of Miramar. So again, plenty of opportunities, but where is that zone going to go? We had a very interesting western zone yesterday that cut off a lot of the space that was able to be utilized by the teams, so it added a little bit of extra pressure in the beginning. Will we be able to see that again is going to be the question. And if we're going to be seeing something, DK, what would you want it to be? What kind of zone are you looking for?
Ooh, what kind of zone would I look? I want to see Creative Fields. That's where I wanted to go.
Ooh,
right, all the way up
yikes.
into the opposite direction of where these teams have already been playing. So yeah, let's see what that will bring. An interesting thing that we also just saw on the live ranking is that Wave are 1 point ahead of Greedy. So a nice little bit of a jump come through. The zone didn't even listen to me. It went in the opposite direction. It went east.
No greater fields. Everything
but
but
it is going to be
greater
sitting.
fields.
It is going to be sitting over the graveyard. So that's also fitting. I think it's going to be quite exciting looking at what these teams are going to be bringing through.
Absolutely, we do have quite a few fun, points of interest that we can look at over onto Miramar. I mean, La Bendita, like you said, Graveyard is still an opportunity. We can even get all the way up into Al Azahar, which I think would be a little bit wild, but it would be quite a bit of fun. Taking a look at it, though, we are getting a few clusters. Yes, we are going to be expecting Blackjack, Arab, and I believe that is URUS towards Los Leones. We can see them already getting nice and comfortable there. Triple, they seem to have sent a bit of a scout towards Impala just to see what Lag will be doing, so maybe they can work with a little bit of information. As for the rest of the teams, we might be seeing Vampires and Ra'ad or Mo Esports looking at each other a little bit weirdly, but it doesn't look like they're going to engage anytime soon. So for now, it's a little bit of a breather for these teams. Just get that loot up, get themselves ready, and set on into this northeastern zone.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that one is going to play out. But also Smash being one of those teams having a bit of an opportunity to get themselves all the way up in towards Campo Militar, which is not something we see being feasible all too often. So it's great having a few of these hidden regions coming into play again. But for now, as you said, it is a little bit of that tranquility coming through. A few teams just sitting around looking at each other all the way in Los Leones, right? Arab Golden, Blackjack, URUS. I'm just so happy that they've come to respect the space, right? Not looking to get right down to business out of the gate.
Yeah, it's one of the first few maps that we're not seeing, an immediate elimination, an immediate team being caught on out, or some of those awkward rotations where players don't really have anything to work with, and they just get caught on out as teams are trying to make their way to compounds. So I'm really liking that we're not seeing any of that. Again, Mo, they're alive, they're looking good. I'm gonna be holding a candle for the rest of my days just to see a little bit of a change up there. And as for the rest of the teams, again, we still have to talk about Blackhand. I mean the way in which they actually just managed to get all of those eliminations towards the end, it's really a good showing that that energy is back, that momentum opportunity is there for them, and they can really capitalize onto that into this match. For Wave, same sort of scenario. The fact that they're 1 point ahead of Greedy4Kills, back into second place just behind Titans, is also a massive momentum shifter, and hopefully they really use that, because if I can see these teams having a bit of fun, just keeping the mood light, hopefully we'll be seeing a better performance coming out of everyone.
Well, we are going to find out soon enough whether or not that is going to be the case. Of course,
no.
now it's a little bit of hide and peek coming through here from Fahita, reaching up towards Escanor, sending those hits out. Ooh, wow, that mag just one bullet short from getting that knock up into Escanor. And I mean,
Ooh.
that was scary close, but it's okay, right? It will suffice for the time being. But right on cue, the rest of Trip are gonna come rolling through, looking to fortify. There's gonna be more Teza, Old Boy, and then of course Thor. That's just gonna be hammering down, looking for a little bit of that opportunity now to push forward.
Ooh, I love Impala. Impala is just a bit of a wild ride for me to see teams taking an engagement so early on onto this side. Not something we see often, honestly. Teams don't really like this side of the map. So the fact that Triple have gotten that information from their scout, they know exactly what they need to look at and what opportunities lie ahead of them, and they are happy for it. They want to get those eliminations. And I'm liking this energy from Triple Esports. We saw them having tough times on Erangel yesterday. They brought it back a little bit on Miramar, but this is more the Triple that we like to see. Being proactive, taking the engagement, and starting the fights themselves.
Well, let's see how far they're going to be looking to push this one. I mean, Lag now actually getting encircled as Triple look to move into position. Thor is going to be the last one to slot into place. But I like what we saw coming through there from Fahita, just drawing a lot of focus onto themselves up towards that eastern side, allowing now for the rest of the crew just to come rolling on in. And it doesn't seem like Lag know of that just yet. I mean, they might have spotted out a little bit of that old boy action, but yeah, I think it's going to be a mad rush.
They would have heard the cars, they would have heard that there's a rotation coming in, and obviously the shots from Fahita, they know that, something's up and someone's coming. As for Ninja here from Vampires, it looks like they also have a bit of a tough sell. Seems like CRYPTICS are very close, but they're not really focusing on their position. Ninja is keeping to the namesake and might just be able to get some information and get out of there. Unfortunately, though, I don't think they'll be able to get their teammate. And ooh, yeah, this is a different situation. CRYPTICS actually has the rest of Vampires locked on down and pinned down. So Ninja will have to make something happen here. And, oh, the opportunity is just right there.
Come on. Oh, Lazy Boy gets taken on down. That Mini 14 just on point. As Ninja sends it through. Now, could be a little bit of the turning of the tables coming up here as El Chapo does mobilize themselves, looking to get that res in. And this is a great opportunity now for Ninja to see what they can accomplish. But I want to see where Savage is also not too far away. But I mean, we haven't really seen anything come through from Savage yet.
It's been a bit quiet, yes, and unfortunately, again, it's going to come down to that rotation. When we talk about it, your teammates are in trouble, they need backup. How are you situated? Are you close enough to make that rotation in time? Or sometimes it's just not worth it because you're maybe on the other side of the map. We saw that happen with Vampires on Erangel, where they had one of their players also being caught out. It was Hates. So, not Hates, sorry. D3S. So unfortunately, sometimes that is going to be the situation, and it looks like they are a bit too split up to make it happen this time around. Taking a look at a few of the other teams, they're sticking a little bit closer. Blackjack Esports, as an example, trying to hold down onto that compound with Arab Golden moving on in. Got a nice little bit of a preview of those overall scores on the left, and Yeah, Titan, 163 points. Even though
Hmm.
Wave is in second place, they have 118.
One could almost say that is a Titanic score to come through from
Hey.
them. But either which way, it is going to be quite a bit of a play to try and catch up to that. I mean, I don't want to do the exact math, but it looks like it's about, I don't know, maybe like 46 points, 47 points difference. So it is achievable within a day for a team like either Greedy or Wave to catch up. But as we know, it is Titans holding on to that position, and they're not going to relinquish control just yet, right? They are going to play it as tough as they can and looking to secure anything and everything in and around their positionings. But Zoran, in the meanwhile, has of course now sent it up towards Al Azahar, so it is going to put a lot of pressure on our teams, especially rotating through from that southern side, looking for that next bit of a opening, you know, that next point to call home for the time being.
A little bit of theory crafting. You can see Virtual Gaming now holding onto the southern portion. They're trying to take control away from the mine weapon so they can take this position for their own. So they've got a nice view of El Azahar, which we know is well within the zone. Potentially teams could be finding themselves taking a rotation in there. So if Virtual Gaming can hold on to this ridge line, they have a really good chance at getting a few stragglers with the rotations, getting a few extra eliminations. We can already see CRYPTICS doing the exact same, picking up 3 already, and we're only in stage 2. Come on. CRYPTICS and Miramar, I just don't know what it is with them. As soon as they find themselves on these sandy dunes, they just become a different team.
I mean, it's always like a bit of a coin toss between CRYPTICS and Titans as to who's going to be the one to step up and surprise us with their performances here. And I mean, so far, as you've said, CRYPTICS, we're only in that second stage, already with 3 elims up. Where's going to be the end of that? Because we want to see a bit of that bounce back opportunity, that bit of a bounce back play coming through from their side. So I'm curious to see what they're going to be looking to do here. But Hand also have a glorious opportunity. They've got Smash looking to rotate up. But aside from Smash, there's no one really obstructing their rotation forward into that zone.
Look, I gotta say, the last time we won Miramar, we had a team get 22 eliminations with their winner-winner chicken dinner, okay? That is the challenge for the rest of the teams. And yes, I'm gonna put that out there. If someone can beat that, then I don't know. Maybe they deserve to win Viewer's Choice, but honestly, it needs to happen. We need to see someone just try and beat that record, because that would just be ballistic, honestly. I don't know what the PMPL Africa record is, but DK, I think that one's pretty close to it.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's right up there in the mix. I'm pretty sure we've got our chat analysts that could answer that question for us, right?
Maybe.
I'm not gonna name names at this point, but in the meanwhile, we are gonna be looking at a very trying play coming through here for the side of Arab Golden. They've run into URUS, and then there's also a little bit of that Ra'ad action just being sprinkled on top coming through from that southern side. So I'm curious to see whether or not Arab will be able to pick themselves out of this troubling situation.
Rauf with a nade. Please let it connect. Oh, it's so close, but quality is just ducking and diving, managing to just avoid all of it. Arab Golden now with a bit of a rotation, trying to make sure they can get Rolly back into the action. Wanted should be fine for now. A little bit of smokes being deployed to try and help out. Rauf really applying a lot of pressure here, even with a few reverse skills.
Let's see how this one is going to go, whether or not we'll have any of those reverse skills come through. I mean, Blackjack also now stepping up to the plate, sneaking themselves in closer and closer. But I'm especially looking at this whole southern section, because look at the mass number of teams we have situated right then and there. URUS now also going to be falling victim as the nades get sent out. Quality finding Rauf, and I mean, it's not often that we see such a beautifully placed nade in such a challenging position. But that's going to be Broly now having a little bit of that vengeance play come through here from Whites. And I mean, 1 player down for the side of Arab, where we have, well, essentially 3 down for the side of URUS.
CRYPTICS picked up a few of the stragglers here, picked up another elimination or 2. You can see they're already up. So, unfortunately, URUS finding themselves in that sandwich. You can see Weiss just right up ahead of Marshall and El Chapo. They're going to get that information. Surely they should be sending a few bullets up ahead of them, but it looks like they have to reposition. Maybe even a little bit of a car chase we might be seeing coming up. Meanwhile, we've got Titans picking on a few Vampires. We've got a few more teams again making their way into zone. We still have the Might Weapon and Virtual Gaming holding center. But now we can see the southern portion of the zone is starting to heat up. We've got a bit of a car chase coming through here with CRYPTICS and URUS though, which is nice. I like that. Are they going to find them, though?
Well, we don't know just yet, but we'll find out soon enough.
Ooh, there it
Rush.
is.
Oh, El Chapo trying to get that very shaky spray in. Instead, they circle around and rush on in. White now not having much of an option other than to pack their bags and head on back. And what a glorious push there was coming through from CRYPTICS. I mean, not just taking one front, but trying to completely encircle that position.
That's terrifying. You have 3 cars chasing you to every single position, running you down. Every single player of CRYPTICS just with their crosshair trained onto your position. You're not getting away, is what they were just shouting in their heads. If they could hear comms over the map, that's all that they were hearing. But hey, we gotta give it up to CRYPTICS. They have that confidence. They know that they can be running through the lobby sometimes. You know, they have the ability to do that, and it feels like they have the confidence to try that today. Vampires, Savage, unfortunately, going to be going down, and that will be the end of Vampires. Also, another team that fell victim a few moments ago, but it'll be Virtual Gaming to find that final nail in the coffin.
Well, let's see where this one is going to be looking to push towards. As we know, Blue Zone is going to be closing up. Greedy now also finding a bit of an opportunity onto the side there of the Smash team. I mean, Vista, Blackjack down south. We got a bit of that CRYPTICS hanging in the wing. Arab Golden waiting patiently. Mo Esports still going to be riding strong as we see them smack dab center zone. And this centering up is going to be quite interesting because we do have quite a bit of a valley on that southern edge, and this is where things could really take a little bit of a different turn.
Yeah, like at Virtual Gaming, you can see they've already repositioned to the other side of that valley. Initially, they were having a bit of a staring contest with the mine weapon, but for now, they've had to reposition, and it's a good call. We've got Arab Golden coming in, we've got coming through from that southern point, we've got Blackjack and Vista. 4 teams are going to be going through the same tulling position, so you can see there's going to be quite a bit of crossfire already. Vista finding Arab Golden, making their way on in. Smash and Greedy for kills. Hello, hello. It is time for a little bit of action.
Well, let's see where they're going to take this through. Finding Black last, and that is Smash. Now just getting it taken down. Greedy clearing it up, but they still have Titans to worry about. You can see P6 Teak just holding on that eastern front. Bunches sneaking in from the west, and this could be a great opportunity for Titans to just capitalize and secure themselves even more eliminations. Greedy already 1 elim ahead of them, and they have a slightly higher player count. So let's see what will happen. Meanwhile, Blackjack have been taken on down, getting sent out in 13th place. And I mean, this whole lobby now just turning into something different.
It's a stark contrast to what we saw over on Erangel, but here it is. Miramar always just so wild. It is the new. Honestly, it feels like the cowboy land out here. The players are just going mad. We have stay downs. We've got a few crazy competitions running on through, and we can just see shop after shop just connecting. Vista Gaming now finding Arab Golden. Cacao unfortunately going down. Vista trying to ensue, trying to cover their backs, and it will be CRYPTICS just to steal away that final hit onto Arab Golden, but at least it means Vista have just a moment to try and reset themselves before CRYPTICS move on in.
Well, they got to do it really quickly because, oh, there we go. It is going to be Lazy Boy now reaching in, finding Cacao,
kills.
getting the confirmation. Yeah, CRYPTICS popping off like it's
What?
no one's business. I mean, 13 elims. We're already in stage 4. We still have 11 teams up. What the heck is going on with Miramar? I mean, yesterday we had 22 eliminations come through from one team. If CRYPTICS continue like this, they could look to break that.
Yeah, I mean, GREEDYFORKILLS did all of those 22 points. I mean, they had 10 basically moving into the top 5 teams, right? Then we had so many teams still up with like 43 players. So they did all of that in a matter of minutes. CRYPTICS, they've already got a head start. We are still on stage 4, and this team has 13 eliminations. This is just ridiculous. They are hunting. They are on the prowl, DK. They want every single team, and they want that record broken.
Well, you can't really blame them because they are definitely one of the teams that should be well capable of accomplishing that exact goal. But I see, at least for the time being, Vista going to be looking to just keep them guessing and not giving them a clear, decisive play to make. But in the meanwhile, we are going to be waiting for that blue zone to close on through. Titans, however, taking a very, very wide and open approach as they only have that 2-piece left. It is going to be Punch and Teak playing down south. But I like what Lag and RUKH are doing, moving into the hardcover. But, I mean, Virtual Gaming Squad, they have the upper hand because not only do they have the elevation, they have such a glorious angle on a majority of our teams here.
Like I've been saying, they just have such good positioning. They fought with the Mind Weapon the first time, just trying to find that southern portion. Then they moved on forward. They are really rotating in a very interesting way. I would be very curious to see how it's going to turn out for them. But first, let's focus on CRYPTICS and VISTA. It looks like CRYPTICS want this final hit on in. You can see Mo making a bit of a distraction. VISTA trying to rotate on out, and they are just getting caught in the crossfire.
That's not where you want to get caught out at all, but it is going to be a very, very contentious play. Still have Mo just hanging in the wing, but yeah, it's going to be a risky play. Up comes CRYPTICS. Trying to see if they can find that position down on towards VISTA. And again, this is the part of the map where that elevation is just such a phenomenal position to hold. But here we go. Slow, steady play now going through from the side of VISTA. They don't want to get themselves exposed, but they're not going to have any other option as CRYPTICS just rush on forward. Marshall pushing through. Abood knows what's up. But Nagato, you can see that nade getting cooked on through. Is it going to find its place, though, as all the attention is now turned in that direction? And I mean, Abood could potentially play quite a bit of a spoiler here.
Ooh. I do love it when these nades get those connections on in VISTA. Again, how terrifying is it just to see CRYPTICS, the entirety of CRYPTICS, hunting your position down? It gives me a little bit of goosebumps. But now this is the turning point, right? CRYPTICS 15 eliminations. We have seen them normally cap it at around 15 to 16. Will they be able to take it further? Oh, well, maybe. We might be looking at another team. Titans, they've been a little bit more quiet, a bit more reserved, and it's because they've been reduced down to only 2. You can see GREEDYFORKILLS now encircling, trying to take a page out of CRYPTICS' playbook, and they are hunting some Titans.
Ooh, but is it going to be the clash of the Titans, or will we just see Greedy rolling right over them? Because we know, yesterday, this was the map on which we saw Greedy unlock themselves those 22 elims. So far, they've only been able to find 3. So there's still quite a few opportunities for that maybe to come through. But Titan are going to be looking to play their hand, and up comes Greedy just rushing forward, just bulldozing over Titan, finding Puncher in the trade as well.
No!
What on earth is going on? Greedy just eliminating them like it's nothing, just another Tuesday.
Welcome to the drive-thru. May I take your order? Wow. Okay. Good morning. We are back. GREEDYFORKILLS coming through with 5 eliminations. Ra'ad now. Will they be the next one to start climbing up the ranks, or will it be Lag for a bit of revenge? We still do have to consider that Virtual Gaming, they are holding on to such a good potential angle onto both Ra'ad and Lag. So there is a massive, massive potential for them to pick up some good eliminations.
Well, the potential is there, but let's see, where will this one go? Lag trying to get those heads. I mean, Knight almost finding Marshall, not being able to secure the hit. Meanwhile, the rest of CRYPTICS are going to be falling to that blue zone. I mean, this is quite the turnaround, because I mean, CRYPTICS 15 elims to their name. We still have 9 squads up, and this is a little bit anticlimactic coming through here from the side of Marshall and Co. But El Chapo is going to be the next one packing their bags, and I'm curious to see whether or not Marshall will be able to not only make it through this, but also into that later stage.
It's a bit of a problem. This is the issue that I see with CRYPTICS. So it's not an issue. It's not at all an issue. But 15 to 16 elimination seems to be where they cap it off. I don't know if they just look for that goal and they're like, cool, that's enough. You know, we just need to now focus on some placements just to tally it all up. But for the rest of the teams, I mean, let's push it to the furthest point. That southern rotation is tough, and again, we consider, okay, who have a potential winning condition. I still would look at Virtual Gaming. I still would look at the Mind Weapon, one of the only 2 teams that are really holding center and holding good positions in center. The Mind Weapon, the second team I was talking about, now up to the challenge as Blackhand want their position, want their real estate for their own.
Well, let's see whether or not they're going to be able to claim said real estate. Meanwhile, it is going to be the players there from Blackhand looking to contest, as they have yet to push across that ridge. But again, put Blackhand in this kind of position, and they'll find a way to rise and get themselves into a good secured angle here. Mind Weapon going to be holding onto these compounds as best they can, but it is going to be a very, very challenging position for them to try and secure. Let's see, maybe a little bit of that utility action could be what is needed to close it up, but we haven't seen all that much come through from Virtual Gaming Squad. We have situated just behind them, and that could definitely leverage quite a bit of a play towards them. But Blackhand needs to be quick because Triple could look to steal the show, and with that, there is going to be Marshall getting blown back into the lobby.
I am going to remind you, though, like we said, yesterday GREEDYFORKILLS were complete. They picked up 1 or 2 eliminations, but ultimately they didn't do anything, mind-blowing right up until those final few teams were still alive. So there is still plenty of opportunity, and there's still plenty of players up and at them, at least for the next few seconds before Redux looks to take them all out. One going down there from the Might Weapon as they now need to scramble. Max and Boy needs to try and hold on to the crossfire, but it's just not enough.
Oh, but a great push going through from Blackhand. I mean, they got fed up with waiting, and now they just focus their efforts forward. Max trying to just put a little bit of a gap between themselves and this push coming through as Blackhand move up as a united force. But where will this one end? Blackhand only with 3 elims up. Full piece. About to get the jump over on towards Max, and this is now that time to see whether or not the Mind Weapon can hold their own. It's going to be a full rush. Oh, they've been spotted, but manages to narrowly escape it, moving, looking to get a little bit of that elevation, but it is going to be ended right there as Blackhand move in, securing their 4th elimination, sending the players there from the Mind Weapon out. Meanwhile, Lag and Ra'ad going at it right here down in towards Al Azhar. But Lag down to very, very limited numbers, of course, holding on to 1. But looking at Ra'ad, it doesn't look any better, only a 2-piece.
Hey, and this is all happening right in front of a few teams you can reach on, and one of them being Virtual Gaming. You can see all of this going down and jump in at any moment in time. The blue zone right behind them, so they're going to be forced into a corner, and unfortunately, Ra'ad is going to be waiting for you in that said corner. In the meanwhile, Mo Esports, GREEDYFORKILLS down to a 1 piece each as they are fighting it out here in the gas station to try and move into the zone.
Well, again, we see the players here from Mo Esports just playing it for those placement points, right? That's already where they find themselves. I mean, yeah, sure, they've got 3 eliminations to their name as well, so not the worst position to be in. Meanwhile, you can see in that feed, Triple and Hand going at each other. Of course, it is going to be Zuxi just prepping that shotty up for a whole lot of action that is yet to come, but Paradox seems to be ready. Got their UMP. Ooh, locked and loaded. Out comes the utilities. Zuxi trying to create a bit of an opening, but hey, Virtual Gaming Squad coming in to lend a bit of a helping hand to Paradox.
Yeah, it's about time that they step on up. They've been quiet for too long, and they've got just such a good position. They really need to start making use of it. Already up with 6 eliminations, currently leading the pack now that CRYPTICS are down, and now they're going to make it a nice little bit of a 7 action here. Still, you've got so many teams, so many players still up and at 'em. 13 players remaining, 4 teams up, and we've got a very tight space to work with. Virtual Gaming holding onto this position, going to be trying to force Ra'ad off from the flanking position, which will mean that they're literally going to be taking an uphill battle.
Let's see who's going to be the next one to fall. I mean, Blackhand now pushing in from that western side. It's going to be the Virtual Gaming Squad, still riding high on the hilltop. Ra'ad, like what they're doing, just sneakily moving forward, finding a bit of a play on towards Thor. Let's see whether or not Kofu can continue with all those sprays as they move up. Oh, this is going to be quite the fight for the King of the Hill title, because I think the King of the Hill will also potentially get themselves that winner chicken dinner. Now it is going to be one shot to get knocked on down as Koa comes swinging on through. Again, cooking up the nade, moving forward. Ra'ad trying to play this nice and steady, not looking to overreach, but they do find the first hit. 1 down, 2 more to go. Could this now be that opportunity for Ra'ad?
I was worried about Ra'ad taking the uphill battle against Virtual Gaming, but no, it's going to be Triple. Boy only on a sliver of HP. Fajita trying to hold strong and keep the team alive, give them the space they need to get the res on up, but unfortunately, it's a numbers game, and Ra'ad, they're currently winning it. Boy is going to have to be it here for Triple to try and find a footing still into this phase.
It's all about timing, as you can see. Boy are just trying to play for longevity, trying to secure themselves a decent position. There's not going to be a lot of those positions left. Now it is going to be Blackhand coming under fire as Virtual Gaming Squad is sent down upon them. And here we have it. Shots are in. Blackhand getting sealed up in 4th place. 5 eliminations to their name. It is now down to the Virtual Gaming Squad, Ra'ad, and Triple Esports to show us who will be the one to take that winner chicken dinner.
I'm just saying there's 4 players left. Virtual Gaming, they can still make it a nice little bit of a 14 elimination action here if they manage to find all of the players of Raad and Triple. Yo, Triple, yes. I don't know what that triple came out. Yo, that's a triple, yes. But old boy, I mean, look at the angle that they have to work with. Coming through from the southern side, we already do have trying to flank around Virtual Gaming. So they're doing a little bit of a yin-yang situation here, trying to swap positions, trying to find a better angle. And maybe they can get Virtual Gaming sandwiched. But right now, I mean, they are looking confident. They are looking ready for these last few eliminations.
Well, who knows? It could be a virtual sandwich to come through right then and there. But let's see. I like what Virtual's doing. Trying to spread themselves out with Alpha Luigi and Hulk on the front line. But One Shot has been doing all the work for Virtual Gaming Squad. All 10 eliminations. Only awarded to one single player. Hulk now looking to maybe find their first trade as they come rushing in on Old Boy. There we go. It is secured. And Hulk now also adding to the tally. Up to 11 they go. But it's going to be that final showdown. It is Raad and Virtual Gaming Squad duking it out for that winner chicken. Then Raad sitting already on 6 eliminations to their name. They don't have the numbers advantage over onto the squad there from Virtual. Instead, both teams just looking to play it out. One Shot, inching their way forward. They've been doing so much work. If you've ever seen a carry, that is exactly what we see coming through from One. But where will it go? Because Raad also just peeking over those ridge lines.
It's an equal footing. We've got a 3v3, and I mean, in terms of cover, in terms of opportunity, they are on equal standing. It's really going to come down to One Shot holding onto this flanking position. If they can keep their position quiet, maybe they can get the drop down on Raad. And here it comes, Alpha Luigi finding the first. Now, where is the follow-up?
This is the opening. It's going to be One Shot just rushing forward, looking to make it 11 as the individual as they find a bit of opportunity on to go through. Oh, down they go. Now up comes the bounce back. It is now up to Hulk and Alpha Luigi to pick up where One Shot left off, and they come strafing in. And there we have it. It is going to be the end of the Virtual Gaming Squad, taking themselves that winner chicken dinner, doing so with an absolutely insane elims to their name. 14 getting picked up in this last match.
Only one elimination behind CRYPTICS, who were just rolling through Miramar right up until the end, and then it just, yeah. We don't know what happened there. But wow, I mean, looking at Virtual Gaming, we said it from the beginning, they just had better positioning, they had such good rotations, and then they were quiet. They really did wait for their time, they got all the information they needed, and then they just executed their plan to perfection. They were just picking up eliminations wherever they could steal them, which is quite cheeky. You know, reserving the ammo, letting someone else do the work for you, and then just going in and stealing it. I like that play from Virtual Gaming, very cheeky, but also so clinical in terms of the execution. Can we see more of that, please? Coming back on Erangel?
I mean, that was a glorious performance coming through from the side there of Virtual Gaming Squad. I mean, that is just what that's what we wanted to see, because Virtual they shown a little bit of that opportunity, well, that capability rather in the previous phase, and we've not really seen Virtual step up. That is also, I believe, the first winner chicken dinner coming through for Virtual Gaming in this phase. So it's great to see them rising to the occasion. And just as you've said, right, staying up high, waiting for the surrounding teams to kind of disperse of those threats, and then just stepping up at the exact opportune moment to clutch it out and take that winner chicken dinner. But let's take a look at the highlights from this past match. Oh, that was just so glorious to relive all those action moments that we saw coming through from this past game. And again, a very satisfying Miramar, but sadly, our only Miramar for today. Next up, we've got 2 back-to-back Erangels that are going to be stepping up yet again. I'm curious to see how the teams are going to be performing there. But before we get there, of course, we need to take a look at those match rankings to see how many points our teams were able to secure. We already know CRYPTICS stepping up to the plate with 15 eliminations, securing themselves a second place finish overall with regards to those points. But of course, Virtual Gaming Squad sitting on a very comfortable 24.
Like I said, it felt like we were just looking at a different virtual gaming. The rotations they were taking just seemed so calm and collected and calculated. Again, they just kept moving into the best possible position for zone. And I don't know if it was a combination of being zone blessed or just absolutely reading it to perfection, but they really put them in the best possible spot towards the end. That ridgeline was just power. Looking at the rest of the teams, again, some beautiful spread of eliminations. 7 to the odd, 9 to GREEDYFORKILLS. We got Blackhand also making an appearance with their 5. And then triple Mo Esports, another 3, and another 3 placements. I like it. And TEAMLAG making a wonderful appearance on the first page. So overall, a nice, healthy chunk of change and chunk of points that these teams can really take to their tally.
Oh yes, definitely a very, very decent chunk of change coming through on that one. As we move to the second page,
Ooh, ow.
well, I mean, it
nuts.
looks a little bit different. Sure, we've got a few more customers that turned up this time around, but Titan Gaming only 2 elims and that's it. That's all they got, based on that glorious performance that we saw come through over on towards Erangel. I mean, 15 elims compared to 2. It looks a little bit different, but you know, maybe it was just one of those things. Maybe they'll bounce back moving into that game number 3. But yeah, I mean, Blackjack, we've not really seen a lot of points being secured by them so far today. And I mean, Smash Team, Vampires, URUS, that's definitely not where you want to find yourself situated.
No, look, it's really odd to see these teams over on this side, or is to see them at the bottom. It's heartbreaking, but someone has to do it. You know, when you have 2 teams taking double-digit eliminations away from you, maybe there's not that many options really left. We also had a good portion of the eliminations all the way on the first page, so it does make sense in that regard, but it's just tough to see sometimes. However, that is the last Miramar of the day. So if CRYPTICS and their superpower really is just Miramar, then unfortunately it will be short-lived, because we have that double dosing of Erangel, and we need to see who's going to be the teams to step up and be the Erangel kings and really take those points. So far, Titans, they at least are some consistency in the mix, you know?
Yeah, 100%. There is some good consistency in the mix. But yeah, let's see what Erangel has in store. Of course, we are going to be taking a very quick break. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys right back afterwards. Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Spring 2023 season. This is Phase 2, day number 4. We're getting ready for game number 3 as well. But before we get into the action, of course, we need to give a big shout out to Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner for the PUBG Mobile Pro Leagues. And as speaking about monsters, we've seen a little bit of a monstrous performance come through in our first 2 games. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen once we head into a back-to-back Erangel.
Like we said, I believe it was a few days ago, on that Friday where we had that double helping of Erangel, that double helping of Miramar. If you're one of the groups that actually have that opportunity and you don't have to sit out for one of them, it's a really good opportunity because you can immediately implement any changes you need after the first Erangel. You know what works, what doesn't work. You know exactly what the drops are going to be looking like, just, barring the flight path. But I think we might be seeing an upset. I think we might be seeing a bit of a change-up. So we saw CRYPTICS really picking up those ridiculous amount of points there on Miramar alongside Virtual Gaming. But I feel like we've seen more CRYPTICS on a Miramar rising and shining to the occasion than we have seen on Erangel. They've been a bit quiet for me on Erangel. I don't know. We've seen different teams stepping up on different maps. Like on Sanhok, I still just only think about Rauf and URUS. So it's okay. It's just what sticks in the head. For Erangel, though, we had a bit of a spicy Erangel on the first point of the day, with Wave stealing away that winner chicken dinner, and Titans getting a redonkulous amount of eliminations. Do you think that can happen again?
The redonkulous elims, yeah. I mean, we've seen that, right? The teams really showing all these capabilities as they move across the respective games. But I think I'm going to be putting a lot of my focus on those teams coming through from Group A because they are going to be playing both these back-to-back Erangels, and that's where they then call it a day, right? So the pressure is going to be on for teams like MEA Esports, TEAMLAG, Triple Esports, as well as URUS. So I want to see how they're going to be looking to play this one out, and of course, there's not going to be a lot of time left for us to wonder what these teams will be doing as we are making our way right over into that glorious game number 3 for the day. But where will it go? Of course, the flight path very centered up, and it is allowing the team some pretty good access to majority of their drop locations. I mean, Quarry, Primorsk, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to get to, but the big majority of the remaining drop locations is going to be still well within reach.
And then again, just the question is where that zone is going to be going. I don't know. I feel like the zones have been pretty well behaved. We've seen maybe one really wild zone so far, at least from the games that I've been casting with you. But otherwise, it's just been so central. So like, yeah, here's a flight path, but the zone's not too far off. You can really make it. And I don't know. I feel like we're still waiting for that wild, ridiculous zone that's just going to force the teams into such a corner.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I would also look forward to seeing a little bit of that. A little bit of an outlandish zone coming through for these teams look to play it out through, and there's still a bit of an opportunity. Well, not this game, because it is going to be the zone that is just centered up quite gloriously over on towards Pachinki, and it doesn't seem like Pachinki is going to be receiving all that much love. I mean, URUS starting to backpedal a little bit. You can see Weiss now just turning around, going like, yeah, maybe it's not going to be the worst place to drop, seeing that I'm already there.
Yeah, you might as well. You have the opportunity. Let's just jump into the action. Yasnai Poliana, though, is looking a bit wild. We don't have Blackhand here. We have 3 other teams that normally are never here. We've got Vampires, TIMEOUT, and MEA Esports. All of a sudden now just taking some refuge here, getting themselves looted up. And I mean, surely we should be seeing a few engagements happening here. They are so close to one another.
Well, they definitely are, and this is the kind of action that we want to see here. But I mean, the main team that is going to be receiving quite a lot of pressure is going to be the players. Well, I would say Blackhand, but as we know, well, Blackhand, they aren't necessarily right here at the moment, right? So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
good to
That's
see
what I'm
teams looking to change it up, right? So I don't know, maybe Virtual Gaming Squad, looking at what they've been able to do. Just in the last map, who knows? Maybe that could be the opportunity. But another interesting thing we see also is Triple and Wave down in the Nova crates. I mean, Novo Repnoya. I mean, it's definitely not all too often that we see a bit of hard drop action coming all the way down here.
Yeah, look, Wave we've seen here before. A handful of times we've seen them take this drop side. If the flight path is willing and giving. Triple, on the other hand, they're the visitors. They are the new guests now, suddenly showing up and looking to take some real estate away. It looks like already information is gathered. A few bullets have been exchanged, so both of these teams know what exactly is happening. And it doesn't look like Triple's going to be backing off just yet. For now, they're just looking for information. Wave, same scenario, same mindset. They want these eliminated, and why not, right? I mean, sitting in second place, at the beginning of the second game, let's catch up. Let's try and close that gap between them and Titans. This would be a really good start to do so.
Yeah, it definitely would. So let's see who's going to be the first one here to jump to the action as we have the opportunity. I mean, I don't know whether or not Wave are aware of the presence of Triple. I mean, they might be, but here we go. As they now start to move up already, we can see a few altercations coming through as a few other teams find each other. We're yet to see what Wave and Triple will be doing. I mean, if Wave are playing this position knowingly, I mean, they are definitely just utilizing the living heck out of this hard cover.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they can literally play circles around each other and completely avoid each other to go back into the zone. They have that opportunity to do so, and I mean, just the split that we have now, Triple can definitely immediately disengage and pretty much not have to pay a price for it. Wave, they are trying to take a bit of a longer approach over to the coastline, see if they can spot out a few more stragglers, but it also looks like they're giving that space. They also don't want to jump into the action, which is perfectly fine. I mean, if you're not feeling comfortable and you do still want your story to continue, please let it be so. Let's get you into the zone and see what else you can do. GREEDYFORKILLS, on the other hand, are just on the opposite end of that coastline, so if they do take a rotation, I would just be worrisome about where they might be finding their landing spot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one to see where exactly they are going to be looking to rotate through and whether or not there will be any rotations. But I'm also getting drawn to Yasnaya because, I mean, we got Mo, we got Timeout, we got Virtual Gaming Squad, we got Blackjack, 4 teams, all just crammed up into the location where Blackhand would be dropping. And yeah, I want to see how that is going to unfold. Meanwhile, up into school, the Mind Weapon, they've got a nice little bit of leisure time here, not having to worry about fighting off any unwanted visitors. Well, maybe a little bit of a pre-fire or misfire coming through there, but as we now head over into Yasnaya, it's going to be Timeout looking on as Mo Esports start with their on-foot rotation.
A little bit of an on-foot rotation. Getting some information potentially, but it doesn't look like they've spotted out Timeout. I just think they're going to be just, backing off for now. Yasnaya is looking just ridiculous. I mean, if we take ourselves back to the first Erangel of the day, Blackhand were left alone. We literally had zone almost centering up to Yasnaya, and there was no one. It was only Blackhand on the outskirts. And then, boom, second Erangel comes through, and everyone just wants a piece of Yasnaya. So, also just coincidentally, while Blackhand is not here in the lobby, cough cough, but we like to see it. We like to see a little bit of that respect. And even though we would have, expected some hot drops or some engagements, we've only had one player be dropped, and that's from Mo Esports. So ultimately, it's been pretty quiet. The rest of the teams also now just trying to find their footing in this new zone. You can see Titans still holding on to Farm and Milta. Triple and Wave, for those of you who are following their movements, they're still on the military base island, but they have completely disengaged from one another. They might even be taking opposite bridges at this point in time. That's how far they're disengaged. So we're going to have to wait a little while before we see some action.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have popcorn already, maybe go grab yourself a little bit of that while we wait to see what these teams are going to be bringing through. Meanwhile, CRYPTICS moving into a lot more of a centralized positioning here. I like this proactiveness coming through from CRYPTICS, exploring their available options. But we are seeing a little bit of a vacancy now coming through towards that western side. And, I mean, the team's pretty much just scattered towards the east, right? So this plays gloriously into Vampires because there's no one for them to worry about within at least, I'd say, that's what, maybe 1.5 kilometers. There's no one close to them, so they can just do whatever it feels, whatever they feel like doing without making too much noise, just enjoy hospital and all its glory. While the rest of the team, crammed up a little bit closer towards each other. But here we have it, right? It is all going to come down to where this next blue zone is going to be shifting towards.
I have to ask a question, DGM.
Mm.
How do you enjoy your hospital?
Well done. With a nice little bit of side, the nice side order of, maybe a few fries, maybe a bit of a salad, or you could always, add a little bit of zone into it as well. Anything to just spice it up, give it that little bit of zhoosh.
Why you do this? Why you do this? Okay, but it's fine. Moving on. As we take a look at this wonderful map, we are going to be centering on up closer to a little bit of that get-go action and still involving Everest, which is also an interesting point of contention. CRYPTICS doesn't seem like they're going to be going for it just yet. Looks like they're still going to be sticking to the center. We've got some ruins in play as well. So we should be seeing some pretty interesting zone play quite soon. But again, still 16 teams, and now they need to start cramming on up into center.
Well, let's see how much cramming there will be as Greedy look to push on forward. I mean, we saw such a strong performance come through from Wave in the first Erangel, but
Sneaky
looking at where they are now. Yeah, sneaky, but I mean, still, it's almost kind of not really in the same place. Maybe a little bit more west from where it was initially. But Wave's still going to be hanging out in the blue. I mean, they're not going to be pushing forward. RUKH, I like their positioning that they're going for here, looking to play in towards the ruins, just utilizing the space, and at the same time, not being spaced too far apart, right? Really trying to play the terrain here. So I want to see if they'll be able to capitalize on this and maybe secure a few eliminations along the way.
There's always some good opportunities. We can see CRYPTICS already moving on in closer to that position. Lag and URUS seem to be the first team to start a little bit of an engagement. We can see Blackjack also just up ahead of the mine weapon. So, again, a good opportunity to maybe pick up a few stragglers. But all of those knocks, considered, they haven't yet turned into confirmation. So, still an opportunity to get those reses on up. You can see URUS doing the exact same thing. And Lag, yeah, already Knight back into the action. For now, it just seems to be a bit of a peek and prod. Get some information. Let's see where we can take it a little bit later on.
Well, let's see now if there's going to be any opportunity for taking anything anywhere, as there is going to be a lot of cramming still coming through. We still sit with all 16 teams up. We've only said goodbye to one player. One. Yes. And we're about to hit stage 3, so I think this is going to be that opportunity for the Armageddon, as it was referenced before, right? This is going to be Armageddon, because these teams, they Armageddon it on with all the action and all the sprays that are just looming around the corner. Also, if we look over on towards the players here from Titan, are pushing in on the edge of zone. It's going to be a very contentious fight now for Potato Hill.
Hey, Potato Hill is something we haven't seen in a while, so hello. Thank you for giving us a little bit of that treat. Titans, of course, going to be the first team to try and find some eliminations, but they're up against none other than Greedy4Kills, so head-to-head here towards that southeastern portion of the zone. Blackjack, in the meanwhile, finding Virtual Gaming, so we'll have to wait and see how they might be able to get themselves out of it, or if we'll have to say goodbye to Virtual Gaming as the first squad. Questions. Titan, though. War of attrition, going to be finding that first one. Zuxi going to be going down, and an immediate clapback here from Titans to Greedy4Kills.
Oh, here we go. Don't get greedy. Just push. Wait, hang on. Virtual Gaming Squad getting wiped. Down they go. The first team in. The vehicle's flying in the lobby. But of course, here we go. Titans and Greedy actually right down to business. And this could look to be another exciting performance coming through from the side here of Titans. I mean, a lot of knocks. We've got no confirmation secured just yet. But where will it go as Rhino is taken down? And that is Titans now picking up 4 elims just like that.
Hello, here it is. Like we said, Titans just back in action. It just looks like they just don't want Miramar. Give them grass, give them the beautiful bread and butter of PUBG Mobile, and they are just happy. They are just ready to bring in their items. So here it is, already 4 in the pocket. We've got the Mind Weapon following suit with 2. And here we go. Vista and Triple. Oh, what a rotation. Triple, again, just to remind you, they all the way had to move up from the military base island. Now they have been reduced to only Thor and a little bit.
Only Thorn a little bit. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it looks like
that little
a little bit less than that, but either which way, off they go. Triple getting packed and shipped out in 14th place. But where will it go towards next? Because, well, we still have 13 teams left and 50 players to shake things up.
Yeah, it's only going to get more and more heated from here. CRYPTICS moving on in right below Vampires. A little bit of a spot out, of course, as Lazy Boy has been reduced to a little bit as well, unfortunately. And I don't think CRYPTICS are going to be able to get that res anytime soon. Vampires do want this confirmation as soon as possible before CRYPTICS get up to their usual nonsense and look for revenge.
Let's see whether or not they're going to be able to get any of that revenge to come through now. Oh, the Lazy Boy getting blown to pieces as the Ninja lights it up. But, I mean, I gotta say, this compound for CRYPTICS, this is a phenomenal angle to be holding. And it's gonna be very, very difficult for Vampires to get the jump on them. But I think it's gonna come down to whether or not the zone will allow them to continue with that altercation. And, I mean, if it moves away, there's no real point really in Vampires pushing through the players there from CRYPTICS.
It's a bit of an interesting one. Vista is going to be rolling on up just alongside them. I'm not sure if they're going to be taking that detour in. But what's also a little bit of a fun consideration is look at that zone now. Centering up, you still have a bit of Sunken City involved. But, I mean, the playground that these players have to work with, DK, that's going to be a bit of an awkward one. I mean, we've got most of our compounds situated to the outskirts of the zone. So then in center, I mean, you need to play with that terrain to keep yourself covered.
There's a reason why it's called Headshot Hills is because, you know, if you peek, that's it. Good night, goodbye, thank you for coming. The only decent compound, well, kind of compound that we've got is going to be where the Wall of Battle find themselves situated up in that Sunken City. Now, it's going to be a brood just running into that CRYPTICS brick wall. I already said that this is a really strong compound for CRYPTICS, and this is now them just capitalizing on that positioning. Mozaro, Nagato, Kakao, they're going to come knocking. I'm pretty sure Senke El Chapo have a very warm welcome lined up for them. Senke does fall in the meanwhile. And now it turns to El Chapo and Marshall to keep up the proceedings.
What's interesting enough is, yes, this compound is lovely, it gives them a lot of cover, but it is just on the outskirts of the zone. And right behind CRYPTICS, it is Vampires. And right to the side of them, it is URUS. So a lot of this information is going to be given out freely, and CRYPTICS are going to get sandwiched. You can see Kakao already in, finding that confirmation to Senke, but keeping a watchful eye because they know there is more danger lurking in the vicinity.
Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, El Chapo just managing to duck and dive around those nades. But up comes a bit of a well, turnaround as URUS sneaks a shot up in towards Nagato. Vampire is now going to be looking to pounce as they come rushing on in. And this is going to be third-party capital as Marshall, tries to find it. There we go, El Chapo holding their own, dealing with the Vampires as they come flying on through. It is now down to Savage and Ninja to see what they can bring in. But up comes RUKH looking to strengthen Weiss's position. And this could be where everything now turns on its head as Vista gets rushed. Kakao goes down and it now turns to Mozaro.
Take a look at this. There is still an opportunity to turn this one around, but it is going to be an uphill battle. Vista trying to reset themselves. Mozaro is going to get bombarded now with a few members of company that they are not really looking forward to. And if that's not enough, Vampire is just behind them to double up on a little bit of that nade damage.
Well, let's see how much doubling up there will be. Look at this one. Oh, Ninja, come on. Just almost throwing that nade right into the side of URUS, but RUKH just looking to heat things up ever so slightly. El Chapo does secure that finish, but now it is going to be a rain down of utilities, and that is Ninja having their ticket punched. Off they go, and URUS sitting up on 4 eliminations.
Man, oh man, here it is. CRYPTICS now holding on to this one. It's going to be an interesting compound fight because, again, it's such a good compound, yet you just give away all the information and everyone wants to take a piece of you before you can get into the zone. Titans now the next team up for the grabs. Again, to remind everyone, they've got 4 eliminations in the pocket so far. Could they add CRYPTICS to the tally? And it looks like they are going to be adding Marshall. Will Mozaro be joining them, and will El Chapo be able to stay alive?
Well, we don't know just yet. We do see that zone also now taking a little bit of a shift, heading further up north. Just adding to the whole shake-up that we've got cooking right here. But up comes the pressure. Oh! Titans finding El Chapo, and off they go. Vista down to a one-piece. It is going to be Mozaro just holding on the edge. But I like where the zone has shifted all the way up into that sunken city. And, I mean, the World of Battle, RUKH and TIMEOUT are really having to try and settle their differences up there. And meanwhile, it's going to be up to Mozaro to see if they can find a bit of an opportunity. But I like this now. Titans focusing their efforts down on towards URUS.
Yes, let's get a little bit of that back and forth going. URUS have been a little bit quiet, so it's time they can get a bit of a challenge for RUKH and Weiss now trying to make that rotation out. Puncher going to be the first one to step up to the plate, batter up, and Puncher will be finding a hit and run. Weiss will be managing to get into a crater just for a time being. They can stay alive, but again, how much longer? Lag and the Mind Weapon back on up, and so far Lag have been surviving. Can they pick up the Mind Weapon, and can we finally see a little bit of action coming through?
Yeah, we don't know just yet, but let's see if it's going to be on the cards. Meanwhile, it will be the players there from URUS.
Ooh.
Oh, can take it on down. It's now the Mind Weapon being put on a bit of a back foot here. Up comes Lag, ready to mount a full-on show of aggression. Escanor picks it up, sends it out. Where will it go? Will it find its place? It is going to come pretty close, but not finding sufficient damage. There we go. White Boy gets one, though, in retaliation. And, of course, the predictions coming through from our Arabic casters there is going to be the Wall of Battle or Titan to claim this one with a chickens in, according to them. But let's see now. Lag holding on the edge, trying to clear it up. Meanwhile, Blackjack does get sent back. Here we have it. Come on, Delhar, find that position as they start to flank it on through. Escanor holding, just trying to find that spot. But unfortunately, they do then also fall. And we could see a little bit of a potential disrupt coming in here as we have Titans also now creeping closer.
Yes, let's move it on in. Zeke just trying to do a little bit of grass cutting, you know, just making sure that we keep the garden up to scratch, but also maybe we can find a few potential players hiding it about. At the moment, the Mind Weapon, they have been surviving, but again, can they hold on? They just seem to be going from fight to fight to fight, barely with the shirts on their back and hoping to stay alive.
Let's see what is going to come through now. As everyone has to make a play for it. It does seem like Titan's going to be focusing their efforts more on that zonal positioning while still keeping a little bit of pressure on the side here. The players from the Mind Weapon. It's going to be the play now to come up. Oh, Zar gets spotted out and down they go. And now Titans looking to bounce. You can see that full focus being brought in here. Titans on the ready. They know it's just a matter of time until they get the angles. But look at that, Delhar really trying to suppress any potential pushes, and White Boy also not trying to double down.
Mind Weapon, again, unfortunately, they just haven't had some time to breathe. Now getting caught up with this battle against Titans, and right up ahead of them it is Wave. They are not going to have an opportunity to breathe. And we still do have a very good portion of Wave up and at him and looking for potential. Gaddafi already scouting out potential opportunities here, while Titans are trying to find the stragglers here of the Mind Weapon. Zar will be going down, but where are the rest? They're huddling up into this building. But again, all of this compound, all of this space and cover that they found is out of zone.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty tough place to play from. But of course, if we look over on towards that eastern side, we did then see the players from Wave also starting with a bit of a push. But Axa securing that anchor point over on towards the western front, so it could be a good point for Titan now to fall back towards. Let's see, still, the Mind Weapon holding on, not looking to relinquish their position just yet. They're not going to have much of a choice because the blue zone is going to start closing up pretty soon, so they have to make that decision.
At least for Titans, they have the vehicles to work with. Oh, on the other side of things, TIMEOUT and the World of Battle are having a bit of a throwing competition. Let's see who can throw nades the best and hit the mark, while RUKH just looks on up to see where they can get involved. Right now, the World of Battle, they are literally fighting a 2v4 battle. Holding on, trying to stay alive, but it's time, running out again. Same situation. You've got cover, it's out of zone.
Oh, but up comes the rush. The push. Ew, the hits connecting on in. That is Bronsberg down. Now, Pusher just holding on the outskirts. Up comes the shots, and that is carnage all over the place as the world of battle gets absolutely obliterated. Now, RUKH holding strong down to a 2-piece. Are they going to be able to create that opening? I mean, the players here from Timeout just waiting patiently to see what will come through.
I mean, this is massive for Timeout. They have stepped up in such a good way. They literally only picked up 1 point yesterday. Now they're here picking up 3 eliminations, maybe looking for a good 4 to 5. Holding on now. A few players down. They need to get their numbers back up. Otherwise, they are looking at a 2v2 that might even be finishing off sooner than they would want.
Oh, unfortunately, Pusher has been found out. It is now down to Eugene to see whether or not they can find that position to play from. But now B6 trying to push up as well. Titan still rocking a full 4-piece. Sending out that one player to just gather a little bit of info. Oh, there we go. Mito finds it. That's 4 elims up. Oh, scratch that. As Timeout just punches the ticket there of RUKH. And now they come under fire as Titan look to move in.
Titan with 12 eliminations to move in. I mean, again, the confidence is back in the land of the Titans. They have spotted out their next opponents, running in with a duo, while the other 2 of Titans are fighting a whole different team by themselves. Again, if you want to talk about confidence, you want to talk about momentum, this is it.
Well, let's see. Here we go. B6 now looking to jump. Will they get the opportunity? Cooks up the nade, sends it out. Will it find the mark? Oh, just on the and down they go. Timeout. Looking for a bit of a bounce back here. 4 elims to their name. And slowly the cracks start to develop. But Titans already sitting on 12 eliminations to their name. What is going to be up next for them? Wave also now looking to just capitalize as they've been able to sneak up in towards the zone on the back of all the focus being drawn to the other areas.
Wave is just the thorn in the Titans. I mean, it was Wave that stole that elimination away from Timeout, took down one of the members of Titans, and now they are holding a beautiful central position, running a 2-2 split as well. They got 2 towards the eastern side, they got 2 in the center, right alongside 2 care packages, I might just point out, while they wait for the rest of the teams to move on in. I have to say it, again, Wave are looking to steal this away from Titans, no matter how many eliminations Titans have to their name.
Well, let's see where this one will go. The Titans already sitting on 13. They could find so many more. And that is going to be a hazard. The next one to fall. Axa just looking to capitalize as Mito gets picked up by Gaddafi. And now it's all down to Al-Faluji, or rather Abdul, to hold strong here. But Axa, they've got their nades in hand. It is going to be just a matter of placement. Up comes the nade, finds the damage. Oh! And down they go as the MG3 comes into the swing.
I mean, what are you supposed to do when you have individuals of a single team taking out, well, an entire team? Timeout, unfortunately, going to be bowing out, but here it is. Our last 2 teams of this Erangel. Who's going to get the winner?
Well, it could be Wave, it could be Titan. But if we look on the side of Titan, they are now starting to crumble as they are down to 1. Axa does secure the res. Oh, it's going to be Buncher brought back into the fight. 1 knock now, looking to capitalize. They're on forward spray. Axa on the edge. It's going to be Bedrock just up ahead. Oh, but the heads are driven through. Now Titans. Oh! Gaddafi sneaking the final hit in, stealing the show. Taking the winner chicken dinner, and that is the 2nd chicken for Wave right here on Erangel today.
That is the 2nd chicken dinner for Wave that they steal away from Titans. It's comical right now. You actually can't script this. Wave once again it's like they've just made a new strategy that they're gonna look and see what Titans are doing, and then at the last moment they're gonna be like, cool, thank you for all of the work that you've done for us. You got rid of the opponents for us, but we're gonna take the winner chicken dinner. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think it would be accurate to say that you know, whenever we see it being Titan and Wave fighting it for that winner chicken dinner, Titan can wave goodbye because, you know, it's only gonna go in one direction. I mean, that was a pretty exciting play. But this time around, Wave had more players up. So, you know, it wasn't exactly that bounce that we saw come through from Hemo, but still a very, very satisfying performance. I mean, and again, Titans, they just were farming eliminations out on the battlefield.
I think they ended up on 17 towards the end there, so we've already had an absolute treat when it comes to eliminations from these teams. And yes, there's a little bit of a different balance. I mean, yesterday we were talking about how all the players and the teams that had those leading eliminations would normally be the ones to take the winner chicken dinner, but Wave have literally just broken that record completely and stolen 2 away from Titans, who were very deserving with all the work and foundation they laid down. I mean, the battles they kept taking. And again, I have to highlight it. Titans as individuals are terrifying. We had 2 players on one side of the map, 2 players on another side of the map, just fighting completely different teams by themselves.
Yeah, crazy. But let's take a look at the highlights. I mean, those highlights, you know, just a brief taste of all the insanity that we just witnessed out on the battlefield. But again, a very phenomenal performance coming through from both Wave and Titan. But we also have to take a look at the points, right? To see what that situation is going to be looking like. As we know, these teams have been working so hard to secure everything they can. Titan Gaming, again, hitting it up with 23 points on the board. And, I mean, this is looking really healthy on the side of Titan. We know in the first match, they picked up 21. So going 2 points over and above that.
I do have to commend Wave as well. I mean, previously it was pretty much just the placement points, I think like 3 eliminations that they had to work with. But this time, as you said, they not only had better numbers, but they also picked up a lot more eliminations. So they're looking much stronger, much healthier in terms of the overall points that they're gathering. And I'm still just loving this consistency in terms of the elimination spread we're finding in the top 8. Our top 8 teams are again just capitalizing on eliminations, and they're sticking true to it. Timeout, have to commend them as well. 9 points from only picking up 1 point, literally only 1 point in a whole day of game yesterday, to now this one match that they just absolutely dominated. It's beautiful. Let's just more, please give me more. Thank you.
I mean, it's 9 times better, right? But either way, take a look at that second page. There's going to be CRYPTICS sitting at the top with 4 eliminations to their name. And then things start to whittle down a little bit. Mo Esports, unfortunately, not self points, but they are, you know, sharing that trip to the donut shop with Triple Esports and GREEDYFORKILLS.
Yeah, the donut shop has been pretty busy today. We've had so many teams per match going and just, I guess, picking up a 12-pack. These donuts are pretty good, man.
Yeah, I mean they are. I mean, I haven't tasted a single one of them, but I'll take who's ever word for it. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, some pretty exciting action coming in. But we still have another Erangel to come. So let's take a quick break and see you guys right back afterwards.
Your order is here.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Go, go, go!
Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Spring 2023 season. This is Phase 2, Day 4, Match 4 that we're about to get into, of course. That means Erangel in shorthand, right? The long way is, well, everything I just said, but we are going to be getting ready to see what our teams are going to be bringing out onto the battlefield yet again, as this will be our final Erangel for the day. We still have a little bit of that Sanhok action just looming around the corner, but we've seen now, right? Wave bringing in the double disruption to the side of Titan Gaming. Moving into game number 4, as we know, at least there is going to be a little bit of a change up, right? We're not necessarily going to be having the exact same teams playing. It is going to be the players now from Group B who are going to be sitting it out. So Black, Titan, Vampires, and the players then from VISTA. So I don't think Titan have to worry too much about someone disrupting their performance here.
We also get to say hello again to, teams like Blackhand who had to sit out on this first Erangel. So hopefully they'll be taking Yasnaya Poliana back. It will be their territory once again, and we won't be seeing like 5 teams just hunkering down on the apartments there. But yeah, one more Erangel, then we go into the lovely Rumble in the Jungle to finish off the day to see, how much energy these teams still have left.
Yeah, a little bit of that slung walk action that is going to be coming in pretty soon. But yeah, there we have it, right? Group A also now going to be playing their final match for the day. So that's going to be Mo Esports, Lag, Triple, and URUS. So the last opportunity for them to bring in as much of an upset as they can manage. I'm curious to see how they are going to be performing for this last game.
Yeah, I mean we've had a few interesting points. I mean, Mo Esports also been picking up a bit more eliminations. They've been a bit more active. They've been getting to the later stages. So there's definitely some change that has been looming in the Mo Esports front. We've been seeing virtual gaming bringing up a new rise of their domination. So let's hope they continue this into our last Erangel of the day.
Well, I mean, this is where we can say we want Mo, but well, let's see what is going to happen as our flight path then finds itself all the way in that northern edge, just on the side of the shooting range, heading right down to the Sosnovka military island. Again, a relatively centralized flight path. It is going to be limiting to, I would almost say Yasnaya Polyana, maybe Mansion, Prison, Lipovka. That's all going to be, well, just a vehicle trip. Just a quick hop in the vehicle and you get there. But I'm curious to see what that distribution is going to be for the teams.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of the action there towards the military base. It looks like a few more teams have started to focus onto that section. Again, zone is going to be the question for me. I mean, just the spots that you laid out would have been the perfect zone, honestly, with this flight path. The teams can jump into the vehicle immediately and just start trying to guess it out. Because we haven't said hello to Malta in a while. And the Titans aren't here. So Titans can't be playing Malta. They don't have the opportunity. So let's just, give a bit of love. So they can just, be a little bit more angry. Come back to me.
Well, ask
Hey.
and you
Hey.
and you shall create, right? I won't say ask and shall receive because, well, not really. But here we go. Titans, I think, would have been super happy with the zone had they been here. But now we get to see who's going to be those teams looking to step up and capitalize. We know in the previous Erangel, seeing that Black Hand weren't playing, we had 4 teams moving into Yasnaya Polyana. So what's going to be the situation this time for Malta?
Yeah, who is going to be taking up the space? I mean, we saw what happened in the previous map, Black Hand not being there, so, we had a few more teams taking that opportunity towards Yasnaya Polyana, and now Titans, they're not going to be chilling in Malta, so, I mean, hello, let's see a little bit more action towards that front. So, Mo Esports and Wave, hello, what is happening here? Already we have seen a player drop. It has been from Mo Esports, yes, for those viewers at home. Indeed, Hates is going to be saying goodbye. But is it going to continue for the rest of Mo? We've got Paradox, at least with a bit more weaponry than we have seen previously. But what is Wave planning?
Well, we can see Bum Bum and Ko also just rotating up. Well, I hope that they are rotating up in the distance. We can keep track of them as we can see them moving that little in the background. That's them. But will we see that full Saint now looking to bring in that assistance here for Paradox? Because Gaddafi does have a great opportunity, and this is the opportune moment now for Mo Esports to do exactly that. Seeing that we have the rest of Wave also now just pulling in.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry, that's unlucky. You're looking at a 1v2. If further, you're looking at a 1v4. Paradox is going to be running and gunning, seeing if they can maybe get a knock, maybe a second. Not going to be the case. Again, it's expected. I mean, what are you supposed to do with like a 1v4, 1v2 staring down the barrel? And for the rest of Mo Esports, it doesn't look like they were in the proximity or the opportunity to really make that rotation in, so sorry, Paradox. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's okay. Just take a breather for now.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate that we didn't see them really closing up that gap, but it does allow them a little bit of a trip here, as we can see. Bum Bum and Hansley now just enjoying the scenery, just rushing through the fields, looking at everything that Erangel has to offer. But in the meanwhile, up north, we do see the players here from Greedy. We do have the players from Smash just on that western side, rather. And then, of course, just south of them is where we'll find the players from CRYPTICS. So we could have a potential three-way obstruction coming through as all three of these teams start their way towards the zone.
The zone. The zone, the lovely zone that's all the way to the eastern side that is literally only about, I'd say 60% land, 40% water. Yeah, that zone is going to be wild. I mean, with all the teams moving in from that western side, we've got Lag setting up already towards center, Arab Golden already towards center, Virtual Gaming actually towards the Pop Cup, which is a pretty interesting hold. Don't yet have anyone in Milter Power, but also Novo is still involved. So there's still some really good positions that teams can get themselves set up, and we can see already CRYPTICS going to be taking that journey in those lovely, lovely cars. I like the color. Very nice, very nice. But now they have to go through the likes of RUKH, which holds not only the World of Battle, but also the Mind Weapon. And who knows who else is going to be joining in on that.
Yeah, we don't know. That's a great question to ask, right? We'll find out, though, hopefully soon enough, who's going to be joining in on the chaos here. But yeah, that zone is starting to clear up, at least on the western side, as the teams are heading further east, looking for that zonal positioning. I mean, Bum Bum and them now finding the eastern bridge. They've managed to sneak onto the island, and they could actually run into a little bit of the Timeout clan along the way. I mean, well, big ups to a very bold rotation, because that's definitely not what I would have expected them to do. But yeah, it does seem like they're able to evade the majority of the carnage, and instead Mo are going to be heading over in towards Novo. We've got the players here from, well, Timeout with a 2-2 split. And they are playing on either bridge, potentially.
I mean, at this point in time, you can see RUKH just up ahead. It doesn't look like they're going to be stopping anytime soon. So they're going to try and move a little bit more towards the east, which I like. Timeout might be sticking around. I'm not sure if they did see Mo Esports making that rotation in. If they did, maybe, again, there's a good amount of information that would give them good reason to stick around. They've got RUKH right up ahead of them, so they can wait it out. So they can maybe get some elims. They can set themselves up good for a nice Erangel. Again, just to capitalize on the work that they've already done, this would be just the cherry on top. Looking at it, though, it's not just RUKH that they unfortunately have to worry about, right? Because if they move on further, it's Lag. Past them, it's the Mind Weapon, then Arab Golden, then Virtual Gaming, and that is just an entire string down the center of the zone of land we still have available. So all the teams not in zone, when we eventually look at that map, they're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of compounding coming through as well, as we know, right? These teams still having to try and just squeeze them into the zone itself. But, of course, speaking about squeezing, Lag have the opportunity to try and milk this as best they can as a Timeout. Now, head on forward, but back at the same time. So, not quite sure where they're going to be looking to pull in towards. Oh, look at this Hazem now, just lighting it up, shooting through the trees.
I mean, that is just a perfect precision. Through the smoke, through the trees. I mean, just name it. Doesn't matter. RUKH got your number, and they're looking to take it down.
Well, up comes again, trying to push it through. Does find the leader, I mean, whichever one. But here we go. I like this position from RUKH. A great position to leverage everything that they can find. It doesn't seem like the players from the side of Timeout are going to be looking to stick around. I mean, they had greater success closer to the bridge, and that is exactly where they'll move towards. But Lag also now just stepping up for a slice of the pie here.
I'm liking this. I really do like that the teams are staying proactive, but Escanor is a little bit too far exposed for me. I wouldn't have wanted them to really extend past that point. I mean, maybe just a little bit of a peek and prod, especially if they've got some long distance weapons. You know, you can get some extra damage in, but yeah, the Scout is a dangerous position to run, and unfortunately, Timeout, they are wired right now. They have just been taking hit after hit from Ra'ad. I don't blame them for really keeping their head on a swivel and being worried about anyone that comes near them.
Well, let's see where this one will go next. As you can see, just so much mobilization coming through. I mean, URUS, triple wave, the world of battle. We've got Greedy, we got RUKH, Smash. I mean, pick a team. They're all on the move, looking to get themselves crammed up into that zone. So it's going to be a very tough play, especially looking onto these edges. With the speed opportunity now with the addition of URUS stepping up as well, maybe bringing a little bit of that relief that Timeout now needs.
Well, it might be short-lived. We can see that zone now shifting there towards the eastern side, so a lot more teams now are suddenly going to be descending upon Milta and Milta Power, respectively, forming a bit of a central band once again as everyone is nestling in for some space, something to work with. URUS coming in as one of the few stragglers right at the end, right at the edge of zone. They will be some of the last teams to try and enter the fray. And honestly, again, I do like that we are seeing some of these teams sticking to the outskirts. Again, very reminiscent of the previous meta because you're trying to avoid as many of those early fights. But now it's all about the engagements. It's all about finding those eliminations towards the center. And I have to ask the question, are we going to get a Milta Power finish?
Ooh. Well,
Because that would be rough.
probably.
That would,
It
especially
probably.
if we head towards those trees on the hilltop. That
I mean,
Oh.
there's a good probability of that now being the case here, but let's see where this one is going to go. I mean, we're beyond we're well beyond the point of those early fights, right? It is now, I think, pretty safe to say we've now reached the mid game. Looking at the amount of teams that we still have alive, sure, we're only in the second stage. It doesn't really count as mid game, but I'm gonna call it mid game because stage 3 is just around the corner. And we've got essentially all 16 teams now just crammed up in towards the zone. The mine weapon, I like their positioning on that southern side. It will allow them some really good vantage points potentially to play, depending on where the rest of the teams move towards. But again, there's no safe place currently within the zone. Every spot that you move into, there's already either someone nearby or already within that position.
Well, yeah, 16 teams. We've got 30 to 40% of the zone of the playable area being water. No, there's not much space to work with, and won't be that case for a while until we start seeing some numbers dropping. I'm seeing Mo already picking up a little bit of action there towards Forest, and that's happening towards the western side as teams are trying to enter on end. Smash getting a little cheeky, but Koa too quick with the trigger, immediate trade.
Well, let's see whether or not Blackhand are going to look to storm in that position where we see Smash. Does seem like they're testing the water, but up comes RUKH as well, looking to get a little bit of the action here. The world of battle also now going to be stepping up, and this is going to be absolute carnage. I mean, about, what, 4 or 5 teams just sitting here fighting it out for possession of this region. And Smash now, well, getting taken apart as they've been reduced down to only 1 remaining hopeful, but there's still quite a bit of carnage just looming in the air. You can see, up comes, oh, a nice hit by RUKH running straight over Bronsberg.
Too clean, too clean. I mean, just taking even just a sliver of damage and getting out completely safe. Ah, we love it. They're practicing for those Vikendi challenges, and Storm is practicing some running. Maybe in a different place, preferably. Is this? Oh, the revenge! The revenge is just too good.
Oh, glorious! I mean, it's lovely, right? It's not ideal, but it's glorious. It's fair, right? It's a tit for tat trade coming through on that one.
I take one.
Yeah, I mean, why not? And I mean, it's not like it's gonna hurt RUKH or the players here from Blackhand all that much. But of course, Blackhand now just inching their way a little bit closer, trying to get themselves situated. Up comes the final contender potentially there from Smash. We can see Black Lost just up ahead, but RUKH now just sneaking in. Oh, yep, that is RUKH just locking in on target. The first team gets sent out. That is going to be the players from Smash. Now, where will it go from here? I mean, there's still 15 teams to choose from.
Liking it what we're seeing here. This coastline is a bit of a tough one to work with, though. Again, the cover that you have only really pays dividends into one direction, and then unfortunately there's going to be a team that's going to easily spot you out. You can see Smoke's already being deployed. Blackhand needing to work with what they've got, and they need to get themselves some space. The only way to do that, though, is to start thinning out the herd, and we still have 15 teams left that will need to be thinned out. Triple finding the mind weapon. Plaza, nice angle there on towards RUKH. Hopefully the Blackhand can use this to their advantage, give themselves what they need.
Well, we'll find out in due course what exactly will come through here as we look on towards the zone and we see that Skittles pack getting bumped over and just spilling all over the place. There is players in almost every single position, but that zone is going to be shifting up next. That is also then the players there from Mo Esports getting traded on down to our final 14 teams we go. We'll look at Triple trying to bring in a little bit of a play. Playing those spreads out in towards the lumberyard, and they can actually continue on their trend, but they have to contest against so many others. I mean, Greedy also established quite decently towards that northern side.
Oh, the centering up at least does make sure that we are, getting into more of a 100% playable area. So no more water. It's fine. We are finally giving these teams a little bit of room to breathe. But again, we still have way too many players to really hold on to the spacing. And as we take a look at it, Triple Esports coming through from that southern side, right up alongside the Mind Weapon and CRYPTICS is going to be a pretty interesting engagement. Over towards the northern side, we've got GREEDYFORKILLS with Arab Golden right down line of sight. Still have a few more teams that need to move on in. The World of Battle moving in from the north, Wave coming in from the west. Slowly but surely, all of these compounds, all of the remaining space and hardcover is going to be taken up.
Well, let's see. Oh, as the fights come through. Yeah, well, that was quick. Black Hand now just having a hand in the, disposal of the players there from RUKH as they are sent back. We do see a lot more action now starting to come through as the southern side starts to light on up. And here we go. It is going to be the Mind Weapon and RUKH looking to fight for contention off this compound. But who will be the one to get it? Because the Mind Weapon, as we can see, I mean, they're sitting right here with still a full 4-piece up. RUKH, this health bar is not looking all too optimal, but it's not going to deter them from pushing forward.
Well, what should deter them is, what's happening right behind them. CRYPTICS going to be moving on in. Those nades are going to be moving right on top of them. And now all of a sudden, RUKH going to be reduced down. Only one that needs to hold on to this. And will they be able to is the question.
Oh, Delhop with a quick little bit of a strafe. Finds that first hit now. Oh! There we go. RUKH almost going up in smoke. It is now down to Kofu, who is just, enjoying the flames, having a bit of a marshmallow. Up comes the nade, and Knight says good night as RUKH now heads on back.
Ding, ding, ding. We have, unfortunately, no more RUKH, but it's okay. It's all right. URUS also going to be joining them in the lobby. TIMEOUT running on in with the World of Battle towards the bottom of the lobby with those eliminations. But looking at the rest of the lobby, Black Hand up with 5, Triple with 3, the Mind Weapon with 3. Starting to heat it up. Virtual Gaming now coming through from this eastern side, just behind Arab Golden. Again, CRYPTICS have been a bit quiet. They've sent through a little bit of a welcoming package. They've found some success, maybe hit 1 or 2 knocks. They haven't looked for those confirmations. They've been quiet. They have a lot more teams to deal with, and everyone is just trying to find some information. Lurking about in the trees, we know there's a lot of danger.
Well, let's see how much of this danger they can actually work with. As there's going to be Old Boy just riding the ridge here, looking for that opportunity. It is going to be TIMEOUT just inching on up. But Mido definitely having to just batch themselves back together again. Unfortunately, can't exactly slide down the hill like Humpty Dumpty, but let's see what is going to happen next as we wait for that zone to shift. But where will it go? We still see the players there from Virtual over on that far eastern side, but this is now a great opportunity for Triple to try and just solidify a strong position because, I mean, they've got pretty much free reign aside from the players there from Greedy who could bring in a bit of a disruption. But look at Triple just mobilizing, moving out. They catch wind of timeout, and this could be that exact rush we see now coming through.
Oh, we love it already. Running in that 1-3 split. We've got an old boy giving themselves cover while the rest of Triple Esports move on in for the finish. Hazard and Mido now all of a sudden they need to deal with an enemy that they weren't going to be expecting anytime soon, but Triple just too quick on their feet.
Well, let's see. Will they get timed out or will it be a triple dose of action? Just come on in. Mido, Hazard, each occupying a different building. So this could actually play out quite favorably for them if they're able to prioritize these altercations. The utilities get sent downstairs. There we go. The first one found on towards Morteza. Kimo. Oh, going to be looking to be the next one stepping up for a shave. Oh, down they go. It now turns to Thor. And Mido just finding a beautiful crack in the door. Steps up, gets the confirmation, but now it's going to be that rush. Come on, Mido. Rush on through. Unfortunately, they do fall. As the shots come in, Old Boy reaching in from way, way off in the distance. And that is just where the Overwatch just pays such great dividends. But now Hazard looking to welcome Old Boy in. And this is going to be that rush opportunity, almost getting dealt with that DBS. But where will it go next? As Old Boy and Hazard have to face off Thor, just waiting in the wing. But there we go. It has been confirmed. Timeout. Getting sent back.
Just when you think that they have an opportunity to move on forward. But they really put up a good fight. I mean, just being able to find 1 or 2 hits there, running away with 2, that's really going to help them towards the end. So I'm still going to give them a hand up. I mean, they did fantastically. Speaking of hands up, and speaking of someone who needs a little bit more help, it's going to be Lag right now. A9Q is going to be one of the only players still up, and Adam trying to hold up to the Lag name, while Wave and the World of Battle look to finish it up once and for all.
Oh, yep, here we go. They got a healthy dose of carnage on the plate, and there we go. Come through with a beautiful rush, and that is Wave now, just settling the players there from the World of Battle. Down to the final 8 we go. It's still going to be the players there from the Mind Weapon and Lag, fighting for possession down on that southern side, but as we move up towards the northeast, it's Black Hand and Arab Golden. Look at Koa here. Sending utility out, not exactly finding the point, but that is not going to stop them from trying to just keep that pressure up.
Absolutely, and they really don't have much of a choice. They also need to be really quick on their feet if they want to be staying alive. Koa, honestly, how are you still alive? It's going to be the question for me. GREEDYFORKILLS are closing on into their position. Hopefully, for Black Hand, they might take a detour, but I don't know. Looking at that mini-map, I would be a bit worried. Black Hand need to get themselves space, and by that, they need to get rid of Arab Golden.
Yeah, definitely they need to. Oh, that's not gonna help. As the Wanted now just quickly deals with good old Plaza. Goa has a bit of a play to make. Let's see what it reach. Oh yes, on point, finds quality. Here comes the next one on their heels, and that is Wafi getting taken on down. Wanted finds the hit on towards Koa, but now is the opportunity for RUKH to maybe come in with a bit of a clutch.
And they have to, again, time is unfortunately of the essence. If they can get at least Wanted, they can really make this turn around for them, because GREEDYFORKILLS is going to be on the hunt real soon. Can't give them any time to work with. Thankfully, it looks like Zuxi might be delaying that heal, that res. That also does mean that RUKH knows that their positioning has been given up. They can't really get an exit plan going, because then they'll either be giving themselves up to Arab Golden or to GREEDYFORKILLS. Arab going to be holding on to at least 2 players, but now they have to deal with not only the remainder of Black Hand, but also GREEDYFORKILLS. Triple has been up to 8 eliminations. Just FYI, I missed that.
Wow, that's yeah, that was Thor. Just putting a stop to Wave, adding a big tally of elims to their belt. But of course now it is going to be Arab looking to push on forward into that zone, pulling up very close towards RUKH. And this is where we get to see what RUKH is going to be having, well, on demand here. Will we see that spray? Will we see more utilities come through? Or is this going to be the end of the road? Well, there we go. Nice nade getting sent out, but RUKH has been spotted out. Wanted. Getting dealt dirty with that nade, but not sufficiently so to find the final head onto Wanted.
RUKH at least sent through that secondary nade, so they did get confirmation onto quality along with that knock. So that's one to add to the tally. Yes, they're still not out of the woods yet. Really not intended, but that's all that I can really come up with at this point in time, because I can see CRYPTICS moving in as well, right alongside GREEDYFORKILLS. And now, I mean, I have to say it's goodbye to Arab Golden and Black Hand. What can they do?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. Up comes CRYPTICS. Down goes Wanted, and that is Arab Golden getting wiped off. Up comes the mollies on towards RUKH. Will he survive? So close. Oh, okay, he makes it. Oh, but it doesn't survive the nade. CRYPTICS now coming back with a vengeance, looking to clear it out. And they've got full possession of this eastern front. I mean, the mine weapon also still having quite a bit of work to be done here as they are moving, or rather trying to move through from that southern edge. But it's going to be triple. Greedy and CRYPTICS just hanging in the wing, waiting for them.
With all 4 players still up, but Marshall is going to be looking to deal those numbers real quick. Make it down to 3. Thank you very much. With a disgusting shot right uphill. That is going to be the trigger for CRYPTICS to move on in for the finish. They want to make sure GREEDYFORKILLS is not going to be a competitor for much longer.
Well, let's see whether or not CRYPTICS will be able to accomplish their goal as they move in. It's going to be Marshall, the first one. The shot's already just getting lasered on towards them. The health bar starting to drop, and down they go as Wipe Boy gets the head in all the way from off in a distance. And that is the extra bit of a helping hand that Greedy has now been dealt. But up comes Chapo, trying to reach across, and I see that utility can find its mark, but it doesn't make it all the way through. And now Greedy trying to double down, setting out a few of those smokes, just trying to set up a bit of a perimeter here. And at the same time, still looking at the remaining teams.
Oh, we had such good numbers here for 3 of our top 4 teams at the very least. And for now, they are holding on to a triple, or at least Thor holding on, trying to stay quiet at least until White Boy finds them out with the front end of their car. Now we take a look at it. 3 teams left. They've got all of their players to work with. But what is the information they have? CRYPTICS, they know where at least GREEDYFORKILLS is, but they have no information on the mind weapon.
Well, let's find out how this one is going to unravel. El Chapo does get knocked on down. CRYPTICS now looking to bounce back here, down to a 3-piece. Will this be sufficient for CRYPTICS to get the necessary opening? Of course, Lazy Boy now gets spotted as well. Down they go, and this is going to be Greedy looking to capitalize, finding their second elimination quickly, trying to bring Rhino back into contention. But it's now riding on Senke. This is not the most opportune position. Meanwhile, Fivo just clearing it out, disposing of the other CRYPTICS players. And this is where things start to crumble. But now White Boy holding strong on that front line, trying to find a bit of an opening. But Nosa says no. As the nade gets sent out, Zar could be moving up as well. But this is Greedy. Again, looking to find that strong momentum that they've been showing.
And they just do it in the final seconds of any sort of map. I mean, when you really think that there's no opportunity for them to get all of these eliminations, here they go. Just clean up crew right through all of the remaining teams. The mind weapon, so good to see them in this position. Top 3 at least secured with 7 eliminations. That is no small feat. Can they get it more? Can they make it maybe a bit of a tally with GREEDYFORKILLS and CRYPTICS and a widow and a chicken dinner? That is seriously going to help them on the overall standings.
Yeah, well, as we can see the overall standings right up at the top of the screen. Greedy trailing by 11 points behind Wave. But where will this one go? As we know, Wave already getting shipped out in 7th place. This is the push. The rush is on. Oh, Greedy getting a few hits delivered all the way up high. The mine weapon currently sitting all the way in 10th place with 87 points. But will they be able to find more? They've got that zone positioning. But is that going to be sufficient to stop the advances coming through from Greedy and CRYPTICS?
It's an interesting position. GREEDYFORKILLS is actually holding, coming through from the top side. Got a good amount of cover. Oh, but they are going to be exposing themselves, just trying to get into position. The mind weapon, they're looking for it. BLVKHVND has been really pulling in some fantastic eliminations, but it is going to be up to only 3 from the Mind Weapon. And we still have to just wonder, what does Senke have cooking? Are they going to be getting involved? Could we be seeing another steal coming through? Or is it going to be all down to Greedy for Kills and the Mind Weapon?
I mean, we just saw the AMR there in the hands of Zar, right? So I want to see what Zar is going to be doing with that when we have a glorious one-hit knockout coming through. But in the meanwhile, Max trying to reach in, trying to create a bit of an opening here. Both teams now just sending out all the utilities they can find. Ooh, here we go, Greedy trying to push on forward, but not wanting to play into the hands here of the Mind Weapon. Dalhop patiently waiting down below. Come on, it's still a very, very risky game for either side here. The Mind Weapon just trying to utilize these ridge lines, trying to get themselves into position and get the upper hand, but unfortunately, they've not yet seen the players here from Greedy actually sneaking out. And here we go. Oh, Dalhop losing a little bit of health, but Fever losing a lot more in the exchange.
Greedy for Kills, cooking up a few more nades, sending them on through, looking for those connections. 3-1 split. Zuxi is being all of the distraction right now. All of the focus is on them, while the rest move on in for the finish.
Oh! And there it is, the Mind Weapon. Now running into a world of trouble, but it is now up to Senke, and down they go as the shots get driven on through. And that is going to be Greedy, just taking that winner chicken dinner, doing so with 8 eliminations to their name. And what a glorious performance that was coming through from Greedy.
Hey, it looks like they just get that information, they get, I guess, that energy towards the end of the day. You know, after, what, 3 maps of warm-up, they just, yep, this is our game. This is what we're going to be doing. This is our turn. So, hey, winner chicken dinner to them. Really interesting finish towards the end. CRYPTICS, I feel like they had the right idea. It's just that execution fell apart as soon as Greedy for Kills pushed back the way that they did, the positioning that they held. The time ran out for CRYPTICS, and then unfortunately, because they didn't get that position the way that they wanted to, they were just stuck in the open, and we saw what happened there. But that was a very interesting finish. I mean, what a zone on Erangel.
Yeah, I gotta say, even looking at CRYPTICS' performance, I mean, they were also looking pretty, well, I mean, they were putting up, yeah, well, pretty, yeah, sure. But, you know, they were putting up quite a devastating position. Sure, they didn't have the craziest amount of eliminations come to them. I mean, they only picked up 7 eliminations, which is still a healthy dose of elims to find. But it's a very challenging position to play, especially moving towards that lumberyard, because that's where the terrain is going to get turned on its head, and the teams really rising to the occasion, stepping up to the challenge. You got to say, even the players there from Wave, right? They also look to bring in a very, very strong finish. The best one that they could try to bring in, also securing themselves those 6 eliminations. So it was a very aggressive zone, especially these last few bits.
Yeah, it's been very aggressive so far, I think, tonight as well, because that's why we're seeing such a spread of eliminations, even towards the top 8. Even if we have one team picking up double, digits, we are still seeing them really picking up the pacing. But let's just go remind ourselves by taking a look at those highlights.
Yet another exciting Erangel done and dusted. And as we know, that was match number 4. So that was all the games coming through for Group A, but also the very last Erangel for the day. Next up is going to be the Rumble in the Jungle, as we are going to be sending over into a little bit of that Sanhok action. But before we do, we of course need to take a bit of a look and see what the point situation is, right? How many points the teams were able to secure in yet another exciting game.
Look, I am still expecting it's going to be pretty top-heavy, with the teams picking up a ridiculous amounts of double digits, but ultimately, what looked like to me seemed a very aggressive Erangel. So
Mm.
I'm expecting we're going to see a few more teams taking some eliminations. We might see a bit of spread, but we can go and take a look at it because thankfully I don't have to count all of these eliminations. We have fantastic people that do that for us. So let's take a look. 18 for GREEDYFORKILLS, obviously with that wonderful winner for chicken dinner. And then CRYPTICS not far off. Again, if they just won that top hill battle against GREEDYFORKILLS, I easily think they could have doubled their eliminations.
Oh yes, oh yes. I mean, I can't argue with you on that fact, but it's also one of the few times where we can see the teams actually finishing in the place where they placed, right? So Greedy in first, CRYPTICS in second, the Mindweb third, Triple in fourth, and as we go down, that's essentially where the teams also then fell in the game. Not 100% sure about timeout, but either which way, you know, they did also bring in quite a bit of a performance, securing themselves those 3 eliminations. But yes, as it's been a heavy hand being dealt at the top of the board yet again. But of course, we want to see what that second page looks like as well.
At least not so many donut shop entries today. Only have to really welcome Virtual Gaming, URUS, and Smash, as they didn't have any good luck into that match. But for the rest, I mean, Mo Esports bottoming up the tally with 1 elimination. Raad also, they made a pretty good attempt. They had some tough times ahead of them. The World of Battle also picking up 2. We've got TEAMLAG making an appearance and RUKH. So it's very good to see such a healthy amount of eliminations on the first page, but we still aren't seeing such an impact where the second page actually has a bit of spread. I mean, I think the most you've seen on the second page has been about 3 eliminations. So the competition is tough, and you can definitely see who are the teams that are running through with the momentum. Again, not everyone can be at the top. That's just not how math works, but it is tough to see.
Well, it depends on your calculator, I guess. I mean,
That's a very broken
sure.
calculator if everyone's at first.
But yeah, another exciting game coming through. But of course, as we know, right, Sanhok is going to be just after the break. So on that, we are going to be taking a quick break. So be sure to join us right back afterwards as we close up game number 5 here for day number 4.
Your order is here.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Spring 2023 action, of course. Well, we're getting game number 5, right? I'm running out of English, but either
It's
which
okay.
way, we're here. I've got my lovely proxy here as well to assist should need be. But it's gonna be that time, right, for us to get into Sanhok to see what the teams are gonna be bringing through, and then of course, as we know, this is not only the last match of the day, but it's the last match for everybody for today. That doesn't make sense, but sure, let's just go with it and see what is going to happen. I'm expecting quite a bit of excitement to come through. I mean, based on what we saw already, just on all the Erangels and that one lovely Miramar, I think the Sanhok is going to be a very, very sweaty one in comparison.
Yeah, look, we normally would expect that Sanhok is going to be the match where you see that elimination spread, where you see a lot of teams having equal opportunity to pick up a very good amount of eliminations for themselves. So this is where you'll see those equals points. I mean, we've even had matches where every single team has managed to pick up at least 1 point because of the Sanhok, just purely because of spacing, because of how this map works. So now I have to make the question: if we've had that already on Erangels and Miramars, what are we supposed to expect coming through on Sanhok, where literally your space is half? We go from an 8x8 block to a 4x4, and these teams have been rumbling already, so now they're going to rumble in the jungle.
Yes, sir. It is rumble time in the left corner. We have a lot of teams in the right corner. A few other teams. So let's see where they're going to be looking to get themselves dropped into these different corners. But of course, as we know, Sanhok flight path isn't there. It doesn't matter all that much. But we are seeing a little bit of that hot drop action between the Vampires and RUKH now heading down in towards Camp Bravo.
Oh, we've got some fun times coming up here. We've already got a few teams as well in other locations getting very close to each other. Titan's also running a bit of a split between Painan and Tambang, so I don't know if they're going to jump in with Vista or potentially even Virtual Gaming there towards Bootcamp, but Camp Bravo, come on, what is happening? You're keeping us in suspense here, please. RUKH and Vampires so close to one another. They really don't have a lot of space to work with, and we know like you said before, these camps with all of the vertical angles that they have to work with, the spacing, the compounds, it gets wild.
Yeah, it definitely does get wild, and I mean, nothing better than a wild zone to potentially close off the last bit of action here. A decent spread coming through. We do have, of course, quite a bit of action coming through into only one of our camps. Camp Charlie is where we've got Greedy. Camp Alpha is where we've got, well, RUKH from Black Hand, and ooh, I'm curious to see what's going to come through towards that quarry position with Timeout and the players there from RUKH Esports.
In the meantime, looking at RUKH, looking at Vampires. Again, they're just on the edge of that zone, which, by the way, is a very weird zone. I mean, I'm just saying, Cave is involved. We could go to Cave. Just putting it out there for PUBG Mobile to listen to me. That would be great. Moving on to this one. RUKH and Vampires, though, we have seen this alteration before. We have seen teams going head-to-head in a setup just like this. And as soon as there's an advantage, as soon as you lose 1 or 2 players, it is so difficult to get those numbers back. Unless you have a DPS, because DPS just throws everything out of the window. But for now, RUKH and Vampires need that information. And depending on who's going to be making that first move, if they do not immediately get that knock, if they do not immediately go for the follow-up, it is going to be a very long battle of attrition, and that always just gets messy.
Yes, it does get a little bit messy, but we're not really seeing any DBSs. We do have a S12K here on Savage alongside the AK, so there's the DBS.
Hey.
But we have seen a strong, yes, definitely the Don't Be Silly. But a good contender for the Don't Be Silly is going to be the UMP, right? I've not come up with a name for the UMP or what that could potentially mean, but either which way, we've seen a bit of a disruption come through when it is a UMP up against a DBS. So I'm curious to see whether or not RUKH are going to be ready. But I like this movement coming through from the Vampires here. I mean, sticking to their numbers, moving up as a unit. This is what we like to have.
Oh, again, I would be shaking in my boots. I'm just hearing 4 sets of footsteps right under me, and I am not going to be happy about it.
Ooh, Oh, there we go. There we go. Again, getting spotted. Nice. Nade getting sent out. Fortunately, not going to be finding that knock. Does eat away at the health, though. Here we go. Rad waiting patiently, trying to time this shot. But look at Kofu. Kofu sneaking around, trying to flank the players here from Vampires. Yeah, that could be quite the play to make. But as we know, Vampires, they're going to be looking to close this one out, moving straight on forward.
I do like what, again, actually has been able to do so far. They have pulled a lot of the attention away from Vampires. They're focusing, they only really have information on one of those players, and now they're getting a little bit of that tunnel vision while they give, you know, opportunity to go through for that flank, and that's exactly what happens. That tunnel vision is going to lead to your doom. Now, Vampires down with one, looking for the recovery, but this is going to be the opportunity for us to step in and close it out.
Well, let's see, will they be able to get the job done here? Already finding two of the Vampires. Now Savage, finds Ghazi. Kofu on the edge. Oh, there we go. Hazem now trying to find that last one. As Yazan holds on. Oh, DBS to the face. Wow. I mean, that was so close. It was almost too close to call, but I mean, Vampires, they just held it up, and they still have their full team up.
Yazan. Honestly, their teammates should right now just be screaming their names, because that was the clutch of a century. There was no way in any of that situation that I was like, cool, Vampires, you're going to take this one. You're going to take this one. It's fine. You're going to be fine. But here we go. Yazan just pulled on in and made it a mark. GREEDYFORKILLS, in the meantime, did find 2 eliminations thanks to timeouts, and they're going to be thanking them a little bit later as well. Maybe going for the rest of timeouts as they are getting in their vehicles. We'll wait and see how they take that rotation on in. But we pretty much are still left with 58 players, and now, again, a lot of spacing to work with. We still have some players towards the end. CRYPTICS all the way to the north. We've got Wave all the way to Hatin. We've got Blackhand all the way still on Camp Alpha. They still need to move in, and as well with Titans. Of course, Blackjacks and Arab Golden here towards the south. A little bit of a face-off. I don't know. Would it even be worth going for this at this point in time? Because Blackjack really could stop Arab Golden from getting into the zone.
They could, but I mean, we know it's not only a zonal play, it's also going to be based on points, right? If we points at the top of the screen. I mean, Blackjack currently sitting all the way in 15th with 64 points to their name. And if we look on the other side, Arab Golden just trailing by 9 points. So it's going to be more important to Arab to get the clutch here on Blackjack than it is the other way around.
Yeah, the impact is going to be massive. Again, we talk about that momentum. We talk about, obviously, the points that they could be adding to the tally. Wanted is going to be down, and that is going to be Blackjack. The signal is there. They smell blood. They know exactly what they need to do.
Ooh, Hamori getting spotted out as quality. Delivers as their name suggests. Gets the spray. But now it's going to be MG, Phonics, just hanging back in that wing. Not going to be looking to push up just yet. There we go, Zeke also just trying to move up alongside them. And, I mean, both teams pretty much sitting on even ground here. Either one can push up and get the jump here. But we do see a bit of a flank attempt coming through. Quality now having a little bit of that vengeance being served as Chef MG steps up, just deals it out. But they're still trying to get that raise over on towards Hamodi.
It's a tough time now to try and find that opportunity, to find some spacing. Wanted also not going to be making it any easier. So thank you very much. That nade will be finding its mark quite beautifully. Broly just in the nick of time, finding the perfect flank. And all of a sudden you can see the scramble coming through from Blackjack. They are suddenly being invaded. They are being surrounded. And what do they have to offer? They need options. They need an escape route.
Well, yes, they definitely do, because things are starting to fall apart. And are they going to look to push straight through? Because both teams currently still positioned within zone. Maybe a little bit more of a southern positioning for Blackjack could suffice. Because they have the ability to pull off a maneuver like that. But are they going to look to play that hand? Because, I mean, if they wait too long, it could open up a bit of opportunity for RUKH Esports also maybe to come sneaking in.
Phonics just trying to recoup, or just trying to retreat, really, from what was happening there. Meanwhile, CRYPTICS over towards vampires. This is happening all the way just outside of Camp Bravo, and as you can very clearly see, the zone is gonna potentially be putting an end to this. Marshall at least finding one, but the rest of vampires, please disengage. This is not a place to be taking engagement.
Also not a team that you want to be taking an engagement with,
No.
but Ninja, D3S, they're going to be looking to see if they can find a bit of an opportunity here. CRYPTICS now moving in relentlessly. Blue Zone also going to be adding to the carnage. Oh, Lazy Boy not really getting hit, so Ninja having to abandon that initial approach, but it's going to be CRYPTICS now starting to encircle the vampires, and they could have some pretty high stakes getting delivered to them.
Nice grenade going to be cooked on through. Will D3S be able to catch it? Not going to be this time. Ninja still be able to hopefully get a crossfire in, but they are being surrounded. Again, CRYPTICS just utilizing their numbers advantage. I don't really see an opportunity for vampires to get out of this. They are being flanked. They are getting tunnel vision right now. They're dealing with what's ahead of them, but who's behind them? It is none other than Lazy Boy. Ninja going to be doing what ninjas do best and hopefully hiding it out. Hopefully not be spotted. But not a lot of meds to work with, DK. That is going to be the kicker.
Yeah, and of course, Wave also going to be sneaking on in. So, you know, it's going to be a pretty tough play on this front here. But let's see. Senke now. Oh, sends it out. Ninja receives a little bit of damage, but that is enough for CRYPTICS now to initiate the rush. And up they come, pushing on forward. Ninja getting taken on down. Oh, so unfortunate for the vampires, but this is now an opportunity for Wave to maybe come through with a bit of a third party.
I mean, I did love that Ninja just managed to send that nade right into the face of CRYPTICS, but towards the end, but it unfortunately will be all for naught. Looking at Wave Esports, they also have quite a rough rotation, and right behind them, of course, it is CRYPTICS. Again, just leave, please. I don't want to see these fights happening right now. We know that Blue Juice is going to be taking a lot more than what they used to do, so just don't. Please.
Yeah.
Looking on into the zone, I mean, you still have to try and find a spacing to work with. We are centering towards cave, just side note.
Yeah. Well, as we know, also, you know, Blue Juice is the special drink at the one-stop donut shop. So let's see what is going to come through here as the teams continue to push. I mean, CRYPTICS, they are pushing, but they're luck. That's what they're pushing out in the blue for the time being. Wave, I like what they've done. They've completely abandoned the altercation onto CRYPTICS and have instead prioritized that zonal position, and that could actually play in their favor as they are moving in behind the side there of Arab Golden and potentially even Blackjack. But as we look over on towards Quarry, there's going to be a virtual gaming squad now just waiting patiently for movement anywhere. We do see the players from the Mind Weapon and Black Hand now up on the hill.
Like what we're seeing, so many good opportunities and so many good angles. I mean, this is just one of my favorite zones in Sanhok. It is just chaos. Honestly, just absolute chaos. And the teams, well, they have to deal with it. That's why they're here. Let's take a look at the Mind Weapon. Slowly but surely, sneaking on up into Black Hand territory. I mean, Black Hand, they have really been doing well. They have been giving us those glimmers of hope. They've been showcasing, you know, what they're really capable of, but it's never enough, right? They can't just, you know, stop now. No, they have to give us a lot more. And for a Sanhok win for Black Hand, I mean, just wouldn't that be throwing you back to the olden days?
Well, it would, but, you know, we are yet to see what they are going to be looking to bring through in this particular performance, this particular altercation. Could this be now the Mind Weapon looking to push it to the max? Well, yes is the answer. As they do storm the castle, they take down Black Hand. Koa does fall as well, and Plaza, now the final contender, left to try and see what disruption they could bring on through, but it is looking really grim as Red Ox and Plaza just holding on, but trying to also escape the onslaught.
Cooking up those gorgeous nades, looking for the connection. But again, it is just about managing expectations. Once those battles are just not looking the way that you want them to, get out. Titans? The world of battle just took out Titans. Okay, well, Greedy4Kills also helped, but yeah, that, wow. No,
Well,
this is
yeah,
weird.
indeed. Yeah, yeah. It is one of those things, right? We've got more people stopping over at the donut shop, so welcome. But here we go. The zone is going to be moving up as well. Still staying within that cave area. And we can see quite a bit of carnage now still happening on those edge positions. I mean, Blackhand down to 1. Virtual Gaming Squad losing players. Wave losing players. Smash holding strong there. But are we going to see a full-on send? Because, I mean, there's still so much of a position to be played here. And also, a little bit of that is going to be water.
Yeah, no, it really cuts in the zone right in half, and unfortunately, teams really don't have an option but to deal with it. Smash now, ooh, just right alongside each other. One not going to be healing up, but that's going to give the audio clue that they know exactly what they need to do. Black Glass going to be finding quite an easy opportunity there, but you still have the rest of Wave to deal with. Calvary is here, the nade is going to be good, the confirmation is there. But where is the rest of Smash? They need a back RUKH up here. They need to bring in some action.
Well, I gotta say, that was a very cheeky play coming through from Smash, but a very well-deserved performance on that one. But now Wave gonna be looking to just get themselves repositioned, moving down south. They could be rolling right up into Arab Golden, but in the meanwhile, Greedy now taking a bit of a swing here at the players from VISTA. Is down to a potential one piece. It is going to be Cacao. Just trying to ride it on the edge. Black Hand getting shipped out in 13th place. Here we go. Very nice. 7 elims up now for Greedy. And Cacao going to be the final contender left for the side here of Vista.
Let's get that nade on in. Cacao so low on HP. Oh, but it just misses the mark. However, look at that blue zone. And look at Cacao's HP bar. They really don't have a choice but to move on up. But they're going to be moving on up right into a beautiful nade. Ah, that is just, it hurts, but it's what has to happen. Now we have to take a look at it. The rest of the teams moving on into the zone. We've got El Chapo and CRYPTICS taking a bit of a swim pretty close to center. And that's pretty much what center is. It is water. So the rest... they are sticking to the outlands, they are sticking to the outskirts, trying to find something to work with. But again, you can see these ridgelines. This is why I love the zone. It is great for us, it is horrible for the teams.
Yes, it is going to be absolutely horrendous for these teams now to play it out. But here we go. It's going to be Smash now looking to crash up into the side there of RUKH. Already a knock coming through. And they are down to only 2. Will they be able to survive it though? As we can see, it looks pretty shaky. It's going to be Rolex now, still just positioned out on the edge of the zone. But as it centers up even more, it is going to be that extra little bit more challenging because we see only 2 points well, only 3 compounds being in the zone currently. The one right here with RUKH. The others over on towards that southeast and southwestern side. Let's see whether or not RUKH can hold on to their own compound. A Smash. They keep on knocking. And there we go. Broly bringing in a great bit of assistance.
Don't be sillies are up and at 'em. They are ready for something to move on in. Ooh, but they need to be so quick with the cover. Unfortunately, looking for a little bit of loot and you're going to be punished for it. As Arab Golden move on in and just dish out some damage. Smash at least still have Rolex up, and Rolex will be hitting the ground and hopefully not standing up anytime soon, because if they do, that will mean their head gets chopped on off. Arab Golden, they are moving in from the northeastern side, so unfortunately for them, they are going to have to deal with RUKH, and this might be the angle for them.
Well, let's see. Is it going to be that opportunity? Oh, all right. So the hit comes through. It's Bronsberg down. Arab Golden still sitting on their full 4-piece, slowly encroaching on this position. It's going to be Wanted now looking to see if they can maybe find Rami in the distance. Oh, Rami just waiting. Oh, look at this, Eugene. How does he even get up on the door? Either way, that's going to be an exciting play once they get to utilize the position. But now it's going to be Smash. Gold trying to sneak into position. Rolex holding on for dear life, and they could run out of time momentarily.
Wanted. They know something's up. They've seen a few pixels. They are just waiting for that one opportunity. RUKH going to be jumping on up, trying to hide out as much as they can. Arab Golden circling on around. Rolex going to be going out. RUKH still moving on forward. We've got 17 still left, and we've got so little space to work with. In the meanwhile, we've got the World of Battle over towards the south. You can see they are just taking hits, trying to take as much space as they possibly can. And for RUKH, I mean, honestly, their days were numbered. I mean, in 2v4, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's not many options, but if we look at that zone, there's only one player currently situated within the next zone. So Arthur trying to lead the charge there. We also see the players there from CRYPTICS trying to move themselves out. It's going to be Rhino hot on their heels. Could bring a bit of an exciting play. Not quite sure where CRYPTICS are going to be looking to go because Cave is outside of the zone and they need to head the other way. So the pressure is definitely going to be on. But I like this preemptive play coming through from Arab, also looking to get themselves situated, sending out Broly into that zone.
Yeah, no, it really does give them an opportunity. Again, just that information. Now Arab Golden can follow on through. But they do need to be careful. I don't think they have any information on the Wolf battle. I mean, they have literally just been sneaking on in, and Greedy4Kills have just been waiting for an opportunity to just send a few packages along. You can see the World of Battle already taking a couple of hits. We've got Timeout still trying to get into zone. It is so tough. Senke, in the meanwhile, is literally just taking a swim, and that's all CRYPTICS can really do in this scenario. I think it's going to be up to Arab Golden and the World of Battle to see who's going to be taking the win, or maybe we get a straggler.
Well, I mean, Arab already up to those double-digit elims. Greedy sitting on 11. But let's see whether or not Wanted is going to be able to find Nossa on up high. A very, very challenging play to make, but they have to take the plunge as they move on up. It's going to be Arab now, pushing in from that northern edge. Greedy trying to hold that southwestern side. Oh, Senke gets found out in the drink. Down they go. The World of Battle now stepping up to the plate. Down goes Madblol. Oh, another hit. Now getting secured as Hazem also then falls. It's now down to Arthur. And Muhammad holding up that front line for the World of Battle. 4 teams still remain. 9 players still in this game. But will this be the ticket now for World of Battle?
It's going to be the question. We still have to deal with Greedy4Kills. We still have to deal with Arab Golden. The World of Battle have been reduced down to 2. And again, they've been snaking it up in the grasses, but they have taken losses. Wow, that actually rhymed. Moving on swiftly. Arab Golden, ooh, Wanted running on through. Are they going to spot out? Oh, they are so close. Right now, the best thing the World of Battle can do is just stay on quiet, but it looks like they're going to be stepping up, going to be finding the 2 immediately. Quality down as the only member to try and stand in the way. But here it is, Muhammad closing on in.
Oh, come on, it's on the edge. Here we go. Bush. Oh, there we go. Arab Golden getting backed up, shipped out 12 elims to their name, 4th position finish. And down to the final 3 we go. It is going to be Virtual Gaming Squad still sitting with 1. Greedy holding on to their 3-piece. The World of Battle potentially down to none as the utilities get sent out yet again. Muhammad has a little bit of that lead getting sent in their direction. Here we go. Rhino just waiting relentlessly to find the position. Up comes Nossa to lend a bit of a helping hand. But it is going to be the blue zone rather to beat them to the punch. Now, the final player standing between the players there from Greedy and a back-to-back win with a chicken dinner. Well, just gets taken on down. Off they go. What a performance that was. I mean, Greedy coming through with 13 eliminations. Absolutely phenomenal play.
Greedy4Kills again. What is it? Do they just take like some slow acting energy drinks, or like, I don't know, what are they taking? Because just towards the end of the day, when you would think that they must be exhausted, when they must be mentally just tired of looking at the game and just dealing with the strategy, they come through with a performance unlike any other. I mean, Titans literally got sent to the donut shop almost immediately, and that's Titans, our current #1 spot on the leaderboard. We had the likes of CRYPTICS also being relegated to only 1 in the drink. It's ridiculous.
I mean, maybe it's Monster, right? Maybe they have a little bit of Monster going. But yeah, very, very exciting game that we just saw coming through from our teams. I mean, some heavy hitting eliminations coming through yet again. But that's kind of what we were expecting to see come Sanhok, right? The teams really having an ample opportunity to prepare themselves for the Rumble in the jungle. Of course, now speaking about the Rumble in the jungle, we are going to be hopping into those highlights momentarily, just waiting for the confirmation. And, well, here we go. Let's take a look. Well, I gotta say one thing though. At least it seems like from what I'm seeing that this PMPL is quite mid. As it is, I
How
won't
is it?
complete the rest of that sentence. I'll just leave it there. But of course, we were talking about the monsters before, but we also have to give a big shout out to Monster Energy as well, our official energy drink partner for the PUBG Mobile Pro Leagues. And I gotta say, right, these teams just keep on surprising us as they step up. Greedy, as we saw a performance similar to this come through from them. I mean, yesterday maybe rings a bit of a bell somewhere. But I gotta say, right, over on Sanhok and Erangel finding those back-to-back chickens, it's looking like a very healthy dose of victory going through to Greedy for Kills.
Again, just towards the end of the day, they managed to make this happen. I was saying it in chat. I think they're just pumping Monster into their veins. Honestly, it's the only thing that makes sense to me. But as we take a look at something that will make a little bit more sense, Greedy for Kills finishing off with those 23 points. Arab Golden trailing behind with 17. They matched in terms of eliminations. So honestly, just have to give it up to Arab Golden, really bringing in some fantastic performances. The World of Battle, 6 eliminations to their tally. Virtual Gaming following suit. CRYPTICS as well, at least. Even though they were relegated to only 1, they managed to pick up 5 just before.
Yeah, and then of course, as we look all the way in 8th place, we had a fantastic performance coming through from the Vampires, securing themselves those 4 points. But as we move into 9th, it's only going to be a 1-point difference, right? All the way into that 3 points. RUKH, only 2 eliminations. Blackjack and Wave also picking up those 2 elims. But of course, our donut shop customers coming through there, it's going to be Blackhand, Titan, and Raad.
It's really weird. I'm just gonna say, they went to the donut shop because we clearly have the best donuts in town. We also have some blue juice, so pretty refreshing way to end your day, if I'm gonna say so myself. But yeah, I can't explain that any other way.
I mean, does it really need explanation? It's PUBG, it's Sanhok, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
These teams are monsters, and that's what we love to see. But of course, we also now need to take a little bit of a look and see what the overall point situation looks like. As we know, these teams have been duking it out today. It is going to be Titans climbing all the way up to 188 points, sitting well ahead of the players coming through there from Greedy, but it's not such a drastic lead anymore, right? It's now been reduced considerably down to a 19-point lead.
Oh, it is wild. Greedy for kills. I mean, this is the consistency we were waiting for. It is silly. It is honestly very silly consistency that you somehow managed in the last few games to just bring in some fantastic points, but it is so welcomed. I mean, the challenge that they're posing right now to Titans, it is so real. We have one more day of play, and honestly, that point difference can easily be closed out in a single day of play, especially considering we have an extra map. So it's looking spicy. Wave not following, not too far behind, but CRYPTICS as well joining on in, making it into top 5. Triple still holding strong in their 5th position, and then the rest is just looking so good. I mean, we have 6 teams now breaking up triple digits. And I just have to commend everyone that have managed just in these last few days to bring up their performances.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty exciting to look at what these teams have been doing. I mean, we did see that gap closing from 25 to only 19, right? So the work is being done, but we are seeing a lot of moving and shaking coming through as the teams continue to advance, looking to find those points. But I gotta say, Greedy showing great consistency now as we take a bit of a look on towards the second page. We can see the players here from RUKH also then just finding themselves sat on a grand total of 92 points. But I gotta say, today was a little bit of a tough day for the side of RUKH, right? Yesterday, they secured themselves 18 points. Looking at the performance for today, they were only able to find 14, so it's a slow, steady climb. But I want to see that RUKH Esports from Phase 1. I want to see that performance coming out onto the battlefield again.
They've been a bit quiet, and again, you can attribute it to a number of factors. The rest of the teams have picked up pacing. I mean, Titans were also very quiet in week number 1, so here they are back again, and they are just back to their old Titan selves. We have Greedy for Kills picking up 22 eliminations in a single game, which is just unheard of and ridiculous. But here they are, they're doing it back and again. So when the competition steps up that much, it makes it incredibly difficult for you to still stay on top. As long as they can stay consistent, they can get their points on in, then they can finally bring in that RUKH energy that we saw from Phase 1 into the finals and make an impact. But top 16, looking pretty strong. So we end off with Blackjack Esports on 66 points. That is the entryway. As we take a look at the last page, we can see what the last 4 teams need to break in order to get themselves on up. And it looks like Vampires is going to be pretty close to that 63 with 43, 66 with 43. Wow, hard math. Mo Esports as well, catching up, and there's glimmers of hope. There's definitely an improvement. I just don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, I also don't know if it's going to be quite enough to secure that. But I got to say, also looking at what we had on second page, right? It's going to be a very tight fight tomorrow, trying to secure those top 12 slots moving through in towards Vikendi. So I think there's going to be a lot coming through in our performances for these teams tomorrow. So again, I think it's going to be a super exciting day. But of course, now having this triple serving of Erangel definitely help the teams that have been able to find a lot more consistency on Erangel.
Absolutely, and I mean, again, we saw a number of teams. I mean, shout out to Wave Esports; they were really a nail in the side of Titans the whole day, giving them a little bit of fear and annoyance as we move into tomorrow's games. But I do like the energy the teams are bringing. I feel like we are finally seeing that curb. We're seeing some of that consistency coming through, but there's still some surprises yet to come.
Well, speaking about surprises, I'm taking a look at the grand standings. There's currently a 60-point difference between first and second. So, yeah, a lot of work that needs to be done to maybe try and close that gap. The teams know who they are, but of course, we'll be seeing you all back again tomorrow as we continue with our last day for this phase. Day number 5 or day number 10, whichever one you want to go by. That is where we're going to be heading towards. So be sure to join us tomorrow for all the PUBG Mobile action right here on the PUBG Mobile Pro League Africa Spring 2023 season with myself, TK, and S Proxy. Until then, stay fresh, stay frosty, and see you all back again later.